The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Back from Kingston, we had a brand new CJ show to listen to yesterday. Corey Perry has signed in Edmonton. Ryan Reaves, his knees are jelly. It's just a crazy time.
Loose knees.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
3-year contract.
We'll talk about that, but I do want to shout out a couple of artists that showed up at our show on the weekend.
Drake.
The first one is Laura, who created this sign. Steve, can you read the sign?
The first one is Natalie.
Natalie, sorry. Not Laura. I don't know why I said Laura.
I don't know either. This is from Natalie Drake. Well, Adam, you met so many people. You met like hundreds of people. That's so many people. And Natalie Drake made this sign that says, there's 82 games. That's so many games.
And by the way, I love the TML crest from the shoulder from like the late 90s, early 2000s with the silver glitter.
Yeah, the Max Sundin era.
Yeah.
The best.
And we will be hanging this up in our office somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't know.
You can pull up the picture, Maddie. There it is. There's us.
There it is.
There's us with the sign.
And please follow Drake_designs_ on Instagram.
There's Natalie, her dad, and Laura couldn't be there.
No, sorry, Laura.
Laura missed out.
Yeah. Whoever you are, Laura. Also, I want to shout out Dave Matley, also known as Casual Matt's dad, who
also Casual Matt. Shout out.
Also, yeah, shout out to Casual Matt, who was there again.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, this is what he drew for us. He's like, this is the new line that's going to save the Toronto Maple Leafs. He does these caricatures, and I think they're really awesome. And he sent us all like digital copies of them too, so we're going to throw them up on our Instagram. Dave is just awesome.
It's so goofy. I love it.
Isn't it great?
He made us 4 of them, and it's funny. He's suggesting, he's obviously very well, he's familiar with LFR. And he's like, yeah, you have a couple blank spaces like towards the bottom that I think these could fill. And I'm and like on one hand,
I love that they have interior design tips for you.
On one hand, the balls to say that. On the other hand, get out of my head. I know there's blank space there, and I want to fill it.
Dave, he's got a blank space, baby, and he'll write your name.
I will. Laura.
Now, let's talk about this. I am surprised by the race for first. And I think
the race for first.
I think the reason that I'm surprised by the race for first is last year we didn't have one. There was one team, and then there was a race for second. Now, knowing who is first in the NHL is decided by the hour right now.
Right.
And Winnipeg and Boston fought it out first for first overall in the NHL. Obviously, Boston won. Boston was in first for a couple of hours, and then Vancouver beat Chicago, which you would expect.
Yes.
See, Vancouver, good team that beats bad team.
Good team that beats Chicago.
Crazy, huh? The Canucks are now in first. The Bruins are in second. The Jets are in third. And that, by the way, can change tomorrow.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And like, none of them. Well, okay. Who was the most likely to be in first at the beginning of the season?
Of the 3 of those teams?
Yeah. The easy answer is Boston because they were in first. None of us thought they would be even close to the same. They lost their top 2 centers. No other team in the league has survived.
I might have had them second in the division. I might have called them.
I had Buffalo, so good for you.
Yeah. We eventually have to do a segment on what the hell happened to Buffalo this year. Injuries and a bunch of bad luck, but man,
well,
sad what happened.
Like, looking back, I'm like, what did I really expect Devin Levi to be?
Yeah, the goaltending didn't work out like the way we thought it would.
Yeah.
That's been holding the back a little while, and we were all like, all right, Levi's going to come in first year, be Vezina Levi.
Better than Hellebuck immediately.
Yeah,
like,
that wasn't the case.
I don't know why I thought that.
The Jets last night allowed more than 3 goals for the first time in how many games?
35.
That's so many games.
Yeah.
Is it actually 35?
35 games.
What?
First time in 35 they've allowed more than 3 goals. They lost, but that's unreal.
Oh, they're coming off a loss?
Yeah, against Boston.
Cool. Who do the Leafs play twice in a row?
Oh, it's great, isn't it? Home and home with Winnipeg. The Canucks are even crazier. So going into the game last night, the Vancouver Canucks ranked first in the league with the highest goal differential. It was plus 59 at the start. I believe it's plus 58 now. Man. The Canucks had the most wins when leading after 2 periods with 28. And they opened scoring 32 times in the season that's first in the league and have the most wins when scoring first, which is 25. After the game, the stat that changed was Thatcher Demko and the Vancouver Canucks now 29-0-1 when leading after 40 minutes.
Oh,
that's
holy shit.
One single third period comeback that was successful. And I have no idea who it was against.
So that's incredible, not just because of their ability to hold on to it, but you're going into the third period with a lead essentially 70% of the time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How do
you lose?
You don't.
You
lose
don't,
one time
apparently.
in overtime.
Yeah. Wow.
And you know what's crazy about it is that, the Vancouver Canucks have work to do with the trade deadline. Like, this team is so good, and yet there's a lot of, not really from the Vancouver media so much, but there's a lot of questions about their second line center position. It's either Teddy Bluger or Pius Suter.
Yes.
And
Puce.
Oh, Puce. Sorry. Excuse me. Puce Suter.
Yes.
And so if you are going to make a move and you're one of the teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs who clearly do need to make a move, but trade deadline might not be the time. When you're thinking about how good Vancouver has been, you could see why other teams are going to be like, yeah, we're going to back off because Vancouver's going to go get their centerman, and why are we going to be in a bidding war against a team like that?
Now, how does this affect the Leafs? I'm glad you asked. Kent Hughes, who is extremely good at this part of the rebuild, at some point you're going to have to win games.
And draft.
Right?
Properly.
Right. At some point you're going to have to do all that. But supposedly the asking price for Sean Monahan, who could potentially be in that conversation, is 2 firsts.
Well, no. So they got a first. That title's a misnomer. They got a first for Monahan for taking the contract, and they believe, and I think it was a Saravalli report, they believe that a first-round pick is what he's worth at the deadline.
So at the end of the day,
crap.
they get headline. 2 firsts.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
for Monahan.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Objectively true.
Yeah. It sort of works out that way because the first that they have is still a future first. Mm-hmm. God, that's a bad trade from who's the GM who made that trade?
I don't remember. Don't know.
This is Daryl Sutter's fault.
Must have been.
I think his name is Brad. Are you going to yell it? And Adam, I think that...
First for Monahan, Brad!
What was that record for the Canucks? 23-0-1?
Oh, 29-0.
29. I believe that one is last Monday when they were up against the Blue Jackets. 3-2 entering the third period, and the Blue Jackets came back and won it in a shootout.
So
I think that's
wow. All the way to a shootout too.
Last Monday. So they went the whole season, I guess, up until last Monday.
Well, here's why Vancouver's not as good as you think, though. They lost to Columbus in a shootout.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Imagine doing that.
No, but Jesse, the thing about the Canucks is like if that is their only issue is finding a centerman at the deadline, like that seems pretty good, right? They made their early deadline move was Zadorov. That was I honestly I still can't believe the Leafs wouldn't have made that move. Whatever they had on the table for Zadorov, they should have done it.
No, because you remember they were asking the Canucks, the Calgary Flames, to take back salary, to do salary retention.
Because of Tanev.
And then they were like, no, it's easier if we just do this and we don't have to take any salary. So that was the holdup there.
I see.
Yeah, because they wanted to do both of them at the same time, and the Leafs didn't have the cap space because of all the offseason moves that they screwed up. So they had to ask for retention. Calgary's like, no.
And the Canucks have already sold this year. Like, they've done some really good tinkering. Like, they were able to get rid of Beauvillier's contract, retain nothing, and get a pick back. They basically traded Beauvillier for Lafferty.
Yeah.
Like, I think
and really the value of that, not that Sam Lafferty hasn't been great for them, he has, but the value for that is in the $3 million they saved on Beauvillier.
Exactly. And Connor Garland was in nonstop trade rumors throughout camp and the beginning of the season. As well, they're playing well, but they're still looking to, and all of a sudden we're like 40, 45 games in. And I haven't heard a Connor Garland rumor for
It's
ages.
like Jake DeBrusk with the Bruins.
Yep.
Trade me. Okay, we're winning. Nah, it's okay.
Nah.
Don't trade me.
Nah. So I don't see a great need there. I was surprised. Like being, obviously not paying as much attention to the Canucks as I do the Leafs on account
what?
Of that's sort of my gig.
I thought that to cover the NHL, you had to pay attention to all 32 teams equally.
Equally, yes. And I would just get 8 eyes like a spider, and or however many eyes the spider has.
Okay.
Do they have as many eyes as legs? I don't know. I didn't work in that part of the zoo. What I'm trying to get to is I was very impressed with the job Teddy Bluger did most of the night. I kept seeing him out there against Tavares. I'm like, is this Keefe like catching the Canucks or what's going on? Nope. That's just his role. His role is him and Pius Suter go out there and they take D-zone draws. And I don't know. It's hard to see a weakness on that team right now.
Right. And that's why I think like Dakota Joshua's having a great year too. Former Leafs pick. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But if you could move Bluger and Suter down a line, obviously you're not trading them, and then get an offensive-minded person and then have those guys take the defensive zone faceoffs, it does make things a little bit easier. And the Lotto line, you can't split that up.
Well, yeah. So what is the Lotto line?
That's Pettersson, Miller, Besser.
So the one way you can potentially alleviate this issue is you make Pettersson a center on one line and Miller a center on the other, but it's like literally one of the best lines in hockey. So
yeah, I don't know if there's any reason to mess that up.
Yeah.
The one name I was looking at, if you wanted a depth center, was Morgan Frost, because they're talking about how
interesting.
Morgan Frost has fallen out of favor with John Tortorella, and he's scratched him a whole bunch of like double digits times this season. So there's probably a cheap centerman you could get if you just want depth in the center. And then if you're looking for a winger, like I hate the idea of pushing down Dakota Joshua because he's been just this revelation for the team and he's been fantastic for them. But I always thought it made so much sense for them to go get Jake Gensel, even though Kyle Dubas is like, we're not moving Jake Gensel. If there's an opportunity to get some assets for that, I think you got to do it if you're Doobie. So I don't know. Jake Gensel could fit on the wing there, and then you just have fun with that lineup because it's so deep.
And Dubas has to say he's not moving them. Otherwise, if he says he's moving them, then they've given up on the season, and their price for everything is gone down.
Exactly. You don't go to the store and be like, all right, here, it's really cheap, and then you expect a higher price.
Yeah. Or you go to a Mazda dealership, Jesse.
Yeah.
And you go, I will pay this price and not $1 more. And they're like, how about $1 more? No. Well, we can't give you the car. Okay, I'll pay the $1.
All right, here's $1. Listen, I was young and silly.
He's got to tell people he's not on the table so he can push up that offer.
Right.
I wonder, like, you know how at the beginning of the season I said mid-season arrives quickly?
Mm-hmm.
And that ended up being true. Like, look how many coaches have been fired, and, you know, teams are like, we're not desperate, and like 5 days later, all right, we're extraordinarily desperate. For Dubas and the Penguins, the trade deadline arrives awful quick.
Yes, it does.
That's like, what, 6 weeks away?
Yeah. And I think if you look at where the Penguins are right now, it's not an impressive spot. You're out of the wild card teams. You're sixth out of the wild card teams, which start with Detroit and then Tampa, who have the 2 playoff spots. Then you've got New Jersey, the Islanders, who just fired their head coach.
Yep.
Like, this isn't good enough. Capitals, Penguins. And by the way, there is a 5-point spread between the Lightning and the Penguins currently, although the Lightning have played 3 more games.
But if you look at the Penguins' goal differential at plus 12, there's a large case to be made that they've had bad luck for months now.
Wow, they deserve to play off a meter.
It was plus 15 last time we referenced it.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right. I mean, they went, when you said it on Sunday night, Jesse, they went an entire month without scoring a power play goal. The numbers are there. But my question is, how long does it take for the numbers to go, all right, now we're here now?
Yeah.
It's the same question I'll have about John Tavares when we talk about it later.
Did you see that they're now part of an infamous record?
What's the infamous record?
So the Penguins scored on themselves yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Chris Letang goes to pass the puck back to Malkin. He mishandles it, puts it in his own net.
Mm-hmm.
The Arizona Coyotes became the first team, this is according to Elliot Friedman, to ever score a power play goal without registering a power play shot on goal in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was going to bring it up later. I just thought it was funny because I was watching it going, oh my God, that's the Toronto Maple Leafs I've been watching for years. The back passing. You know?
I think that was
total back pass.
It's just
bad luck.
2 guys who have played together forever fucking it up.
Who do you blame?
That
was a fun conversation people were trying to have.
Yeah,
whose fault is it? Is it Malkin's or Letang's?
I'm gonna say Malkin
for mishandling it.
I'm gonna say Malkin.
Was it a great pass though, Steve?
No, but like he tried to receive it one-handed on the backhand.
But he's done that more than like more breaths than you've taken in your life.
Yeah,
he's done that more.
Yeah,
that backhander's receiving the pass.
So
you can't blame him for making that play. He's done it a trillion times.
Who, Letang or Malkin?
Malkin.
Malkin?
He plays in the NHL for more like a couple decades.
Jesse, it needs to be someone's fault. Someone needs to be a piece of shit.
Yeah. So
in this scenario,
maybe it's the guy who threw the puck back a little lazily.
Nah, Malkin, dog shit. How dare you?
All right. So Adam, which side are you on? Steve's on Malkin.
I mean, I think first off, I think if you're back passing towards an empty net, you better be sure. And the location cannot be in front of the empty net.
It was
the
going
location
wide.
Has to be in the corners.
It was going wide.
No,
Malkin
how wide? How wide?
Not very.
I'm
exactly.
I'm on the Letang side. That's why I'm giving Malkin like credence or leeway for messing up the pass, because you can't throw it to the empty net.
Can't.
Guys.
You can't.
I think it's Letang's.
No. It's Kyle Dubas.
Oh, it is. You're right. You're right.
He
Back
kept
passing.
them together.
Adam, are you Letang or Malkin?
Kyle Dubas.
I'm Letang on this one, and I like Letang. I have so much respect for a guy that has about 40 career-threatening injuries and is still playing into his late 30s. Like, that's unreal. But that was you got to go safe on that play.
I'm glad you told everybody you got to respect for his career.
I do have respect for his career.
I think
you know
it matters
Penguins
to
fans
him.
get. They're like, excuse me, we
matters
might
to
be
him.
out of the playoffs, but go fuck yourself. They're super. And by the way, we think you're great. Like, Penguins fans are always really nice, but if you get on their players, man, those are their boys, right?
I think you're referencing that Crosby may welcome a trade video that we posted. YouTube audiences are different from TikTok audiences, are different from Instagram audiences, are different from Twitter audiences. Mm-hmm. And we hit a little pocket of Instagram that was just death threats. It was pretty tough.
It is hard when you're on social media and you just happen to hit the pocket of death threats. It's weird when
every
it happens.
now and then
it does.
Oh shit! It's like stepping on a dog turd.
So
I stepped in death threats.
Back to the original conversation, which is about the three top teams in the league, and they again are Vancouver, Boston, Winnipeg in terms of points, and also in terms of play. Let's be honest; those teams have been spectacular.
We're at least 4th, 5th.
My question to you is: are the Edmonton Oilers the best team in the NHL right now? And I'm going to ask you,
what's the argument against it?
Well, so let me throw this at you. 13
straight.
Longest winning streak in NHL history was the 92-93 Penguins, who did, by the way, won back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
They won 17 down the stretch in March and April, which is scary. You don't want to be that hot going to the playoffs. Oh my God. The Columbus Blue Jackets hit 16 wins in a row in 16-17. Wow. And the Oilers obviously tied and then passed the Montreal Canadiens this past weekend for the longest winning streak among Canadian teams.
Wow.
So it was 12. Now it's 13. The Edmonton Oilers, forget Corey Perry for a second. Mm-hmm. They've got to be the best team in the NHL, right?
I mean, listen, they could theoretically miss the playoffs, but we're talking about now. This conversation pertains to right now. No,
they're not?
No. No one's better than them.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay. All right. Yes, they're the best one.
Yes, they're the best one. No one's better.
Okay. All right.
Since Knobloch, what is Knobloch's winning percentage?
Oh man, it's got to be in the 9.
It might be on Hockey DB.
Okay.
Dude, they don't lose games. I think the best team in the NHL is one that does not lose games. The Canucks and the Jets and the Bruins and their whole season. Yes, I did it. No one's taking that away from them. Believe me, when they finally tally the standings, they'll be 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And the Oilers will be wherever they are. But right now, do you want to play the Oilers?
No, I don't think anybody wants to play the Oilers.
Ew. You a masochist?
I would take the Canucks over the Oilers. I would take the Jets over the Oilers. I would take the Bruins over the Oilers. I would take the teams that have done it all season long. I think those teams are all as good as each other. Why is that so crazy to say that the teams that have been consistently good all season long are as good as the other teams right now? Because
I think we're talking about the thing that does it for me is just the Oilers all of a sudden can play defense. And their offense was already the best in the league.
And things have changed. Yeah, but it wasn't. That was the thing.
It wasn't.
When they were losing games, McDavid was hurt and out of the lineup and not McDavid at all. He was something like in the 60s, 70s in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And here he is just and just running through everyone. Shells and Goombas are flying all over the place. He won't be stopped.
He's 23, 6-0 since taking over.
A 793 win percentage. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's so wild.
Wow.
Now, Corey Perry signed in Edmonton.
Yes.
And what scares me the most about this, as a Toronto fan, is this is the kind of guy that Toronto has needed for a long time and have tried to find. I maintain
any
that
playoff team.
Wayne Simmons was that guy, and then the wrist was broken. He was great, though, when he started here.
I did a series of tweets breaking down the stat breakdown of Corey Perry the season before and Wayne Simmons the season before. Wayne Simmons was clearly the better player and the better option, like the younger, healthier option.
Yeah.
And Perry's had a renaissance in his career that came to a screeching halt this year.
And then came back.
And now he's back.
And here's the thing. So if it used to be if Leon and Connor, much like the core four for the Leafs, if they have a night off, they have a bad night, the Oilers couldn't win. But now you've got Hyman, Kane, Nuge, Corey Perry's going to be there and be gritty.
Those are four guys who can beat your ass.
Oiler favorite Matthias Janmark, who Oilers fans I think is their whipping boy this year. They're very, very dangerous with
Connor Brown.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. I just what I think is that they got the Ekholm deal done last year. They just added a gritty forward to their lineup that can be as much of a bastard as the Golden Knights can. You know what I mean? Like really mean in the playoffs, because that's who I think they have to go through. And they really didn't use any capital doing it. And can they get another D-man? Do they need goaltender protection? Can they get another winger? Everybody's been asking for a winger for years to pull Janmark out of the top six. They can do all that.
This is the second time now in recent years where the Oilers have taken advantage of a basically unheard of situation. Like, this is the second time that they've signed a player who may have to get into a legal battle with his former club for tearing up their contract. Like, say what you want about the job Ken Holland's done. Like, that's extremely unique that those situations happened. Like Kane's situation, I don't remember that ever happening before. Perry's situation, I can't think of it ever happening before. He goes out and gets both of those guys. You can talk about how good or bad any of that is. He did it. You throw in the Ekholm deal. Like, yes, I think they could use, a backup goalie would be nice. A little help on D would be nice. But this is one of those rare trades that helps the Oilers become more of what they are, which is an offensive pain in the ass.
It's not a trade.
And it's not a trade.
They're going to have to make a corresponding move by 5 p.m. today to free up the cap space.
Adam Ernie was waived.
Oh, is that the one they made? Okay,
yesterday.
There it is. Okay,
yeah, so we'll find out in the next bit if somebody claimed him or not.
Yeah. So there's the move. So there's some costs to doing business there. But there's they have a lot of cap flexibility this year, and next year is going to be the cap hell where they have to figure out all of these overages that they have going. But I'm trying not to be a prisoner of the moment with the Oilers, because if you look at the Los Angeles Kings, like I keep bringing them up, but this season they started the season with being on the verge of breaking the longest road winning streak ever.
Yep.
If we're talking about records and teams going on streaks, like they had one this season that was an NHL wide record, and the Oilers in the moment are on the verge of something similar where they're having a record. And when the Oilers were in a tailspin early in the season, it looked like they weren't going to make the playoffs. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs. I predicted they wouldn't make the playoffs. And in that moment, I was a prisoner of the moment based on how they're playing at that time.
Right.
So right now, they're now on the other end of the spectrum. I'm trying not to have that same reaction where you take teams like Vancouver, who from game 1 to game 47 have been good. So we shouldn't take away from the teams that have done it for 47 straight games to compliment a team that's doing it for 13.
Well, okay, but 30. How about 29? They're 23-6 in their last 29 games.
Mm-hmm. But the main thing we're jumping off of is the streak, and that's what everybody's kind of talking about. They've done it for a majority of the season now, but there needs to be some you got to give some credit to the teams that have been doing it the entire time.
Yeah, there's inconsistent the whole way.
Yeah,
I think they're two monsters. Like sometimes I think we get too caught up when the playoffs arrive. I think we get too caught up in a team's cumulative stats on the year. I'm like October, November, that's garbage time. Like, who cares? Mm-hmm. But The Canucks are one of those ones where I'm like, okay, no, they've been good the whole time, though.
Yeah.
They're not one of those teams like the Kings who started hot and then had a fall off. They've been great the whole time. Then they meet the Oilers, who were terrible in garbage time, and now they're red hot. Like, those teams going head to head would be one of the most entertaining Canadian playoff series we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like, who's going to be there at the end of March, early April? Because that's the most important thing. Like, I think we're talking about January hockey right now. I want to see how the Oilers are playing in the end of March, because if you look at the Florida Panthers, so much needs to be given to teams that are just hot going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, Alex Lyon got them to the playoffs just by playing crazy hockey, and then they take this and they carry that momentum into the Stanley Cup, and it's about who's playing well going into the playoffs. I think we're gonna change our opinions a million times from now till then.
He carried them into the playoffs and then left immediately.
Yeah.
And they got better. Like, it was...
And now he's having a great season in Detroit, now that he's kind of looks like the starter and won that job.
Basically their starter, yeah.
If I'm looking at the standings, and obviously there's a bit of a spread in games played. So, like, for instance, the Canucks are leading they're leading the league, but they're leading the Pacific Division. They've played 47. The Oilers have played 42, right? So it's a little bit of a bit of thing. But
it's a 5-game spread?
Yeah.
Okay, the Oilers win all 5 games. Do they catch them?
No.
No? Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, they don't. But I'm looking at this, and let's say all things are equal. All the points percentages are fair. Like, they line up perfectly, so it's all good.
Except for the Coyotes and the Preds.
Yeah. So I was gonna slip that in there. So right now it would be Vancouver versus Nashville and or Arizona, depending upon which team takes it.
I think they murder Nashville. Coyotes might be a little closer.
It would be Jets versus Kings, which would be very interesting.
Oh, Dubois!
Yeah.
Dubois. That'd be incredible. Yeah, that'd be a good series.
So then back in the Central Division, you'd have Colorado, Dallas.
Fantastic series.
And then this is the one I would look forward to the most. I would lose sleep over this series. I would obsess over this series like an ex.
Okay.
Vegas and Edmonton.
Oh, that'd be first round?
First round.
There's no chance it stays that way, but holy shit.
There is a chance it stays that way. In fact, there's a really good chance, because Vancouver is 8 points up on the Vegas Golden Knights. They've played the same amount of games.
Okay.
The Edmonton Oilers, their closest competitor, obviously, is the LA Kings. They have the same amount of points, but the Oilers have played 2 less games. And let's not forget where LA's been in the last 10, which is 2-4-4, and Edmonton is 10-0-0.
That's a really good first round.
That would be incredible. I think the Oilers are starting to realize, like, listen, it's either going to be Winnipeg or it's going to be Vegas. Either way, Corey Perry, you need a Corey Perry in the lineup. Yeah, I think Corey Perry lets Evander Kane be more Evander Kane. I think because Evander Kane could score, he can hit, he can do whatever, but he also can be just an a-hole to play against. And if Corey Perry is doing all the rat stuff, like in the playoffs, like they say, that you can't call everything.
How Edmonton and Knobloch uses Perry down the stretch is going to be fascinating, because when he was winning, not winning cups, when he was going to the final, it's basically a fourth liner.
Yeah.
Like with Tampa, it was him, Belmar, and Maroon, and they were probably used more than most fourth lines, but he was on the fourth line. He started this year like in the top 6 on Chicago. He was 3rd in Blackhawks scoring when he got his contract torn up. Is there room for him to play top 6 on the Oilers? I don't think they should. They should probably find a spot for him in the bottom 6, but that's going to be fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
My assumption is they slot him in wherever Connor Brown is.
Yeah, man, I feel bad about that. That's rough.
The guy who signed him to the team, who negotiated his contract with the ex-GM to sign him to the team, is the now president. So I don't think Connor Brown's going anywhere.
Yeah, do you think Connor Brown's got some protection?
Yeah, I think he's good.
Man.
One thing about the standings there, I think if you look at the West and you compare it to the East, in the West, I'd say there's 7 teams where it's like if they won the Stanley Cup, you wouldn't like be shocked at all. And in the East, it's not the case at all. There's probably 3 teams, and I think we can confirm that the West this year is so much better than
way better.
Florida
way
screwed
better.
It up for everyone. I'd believe all 16.
I think, yeah.
No, but I think if Florida
Jesse's
won,
right.
you'd be shocked.
Yeah.
And I think the
Like
top 7 in the playoffs right now in the West, you wouldn't be shocked at all if they won it.
Give me a shocked out of 10 meter.
Okay.
So guys, if the Jets win the cup, how shocked are you? What's your 10 out of 10 rated? 10 being super shocked, 1 being not shocked at all.
5.
Right. Okay. Colorado.
4.
Okay. Dallas.
4.
Jesse, I need your answers here too.
I'd 0, 1 through 7. I'm 0. I
1
wouldn't
through
be
7, you're
shocked.
0.
All of those are good teams. 1 through 7 are good teams.
Jesse feels nothing.
Boston Bruins.
You listen. The Winnipeg Jets, the Los Angeles Kings, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Edmonton Oilers. None of those teams would be shocking if they won the Stanley Cup because they're very good teams. So that's what I'm trying to say.
What about the Boston Bruins?
No.
Okay. What about the New York Rangers?
Then we get to that. We're getting to like, okay, that's a little bit of a surprise.
Florida Panthers.
0.
0.
Yeah.
No, they're amongst.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the second in the Metropolitan Philadelphia Flyers?
Oh, 10.
It's like,
Second in the
11.
Metropolitan Philadelphia Flyers.
11.
I just said that.
now that you mention it, 12.
By the way, points percentage wise, Carolina's technically ahead of them, and we all know Carolina's got a better overall team. They just can't stop anything.
7.
How about the second wild card Tampa Bay Lightning?
Just because of name brand, I'm gonna say 4.
I think it'd be if they went to the Cup again, I'd be pretty shocked. Like I think that for me is a 6 or 7.
Were you the same guy who always got surprised that the defense against the dark arts teacher wasn't telling the entire truth?
I don't know.
I don't think you read Harry Potter.
No.
Yeah, dude, it happens every time.
Okay. Here's one.
Leafs beat them.
What is the Tampa Bay?
I think you
Lightning?
lose some luster when the Leafs beat you.
Yeah.
Damn, when you put it that way. Shit. Ugh.
Hey, what happens? What happens? Oh, sorry. What is the Tampa Bay Lightning goal differential today?
I think it's negative. I'm gonna go -7.
What is it?
Jesse,
What is it?
do you know it?
-4.
It's +2.
Oh, +2. Okay.
Kucherov is leading the NHL in scoring, and it's a +2.
It's absolutely wild.
I think the Tampa Bay Lightning might have a defense problem.
What's the gap between Kucherov and McDavid?
That is a good question. Let me pull it
Kucherov
up.
does not lead the league in points.
Oh, he did.
Nathan McKinnon, who has 77. Kucherov's got 76.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
McKinnon's overrated though, right?
Yes.
Like he's
100%.
bad. He's kind of bad at hockey.
Oh, McDavid at 59.
By the way, what's Nikita Kucherov's plus minus?
Nikita
I just told you the Lightning are +2.
Is it still negative?
No, remember Stamkos was -21 or whatever it was.
He was.
Kucherov was -3. I'm going to say he's dead even.
He is -2. What's
Wow.
Braden points?
He's like,
And he, by
minus
the way,
double digits.
he's 23rd in league scoring right now.
I don't know why I saw this yesterday, but he's minus double digits.
Okay, well, give me a number.
10, minus
Okay,
10.
Jesse,
At 13.
-12.
12.
Oof.
There you go.
That's
Not great.
that's bad. Actually, you can go through. You can kind of go through. Yeah, you can find Stamkos. He's still a -20. You know who else is surprisingly bizarre? And again, this stat doesn't matter that much until it gets goofy. Clayton Keller, -13.
Clayton Keller?
Yeah. He's got 42 points in 45 games.
Who I'm pretty sure got credited with the Malkin Latino.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I have him in fantasy, so I saw him as the first guy to the bench for the celebration line. I was like, really?
Yeah. I have to
I'm
say,
really happy about that.
I just saw on Twitter, because it's going viral again, the Letang Malkin play in slow motion. It is
Malkin's fault.
Letang is going to be 1A and 1B is Malkin. But what sloppy ass play from both of them. Backhand to backhand. Are you kidding me?
Sloppy
with
ass play.
With a guy on Letang. There was a guy on Letang, which is why he made the pass in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Sloppy. It's going to kill the Penguins.
It would have been better off just hucking it into the corner.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly. I'm curious about if you're the Oilers, okay, so they've needed a winger for years, and obviously Corey Perry, we think, is a bottom six guy, although it's the Oilers. Zach Hyman's on pace for 55 goals. I'm sure Corey Perry could regain some of his scoring touch if he was on the second line.
Probably plays on their second power play unit.
But if they go out and they get somebody other than the winger that they've been rumored to be after for a while, do you say, okay, Stuart Skinner's stabilized and looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Pickard's been a surprise. Mm-hmm. Do you just leave it? Like leave well enough alone? Or do you go, do we go get goaltender protection?
Well,
is Dan Vladar available?
I don't think they make a trade with the Flames.
I know, but you know what I mean?
Those are very rare.
A guy like that.
Yeah, Well, there's an argument to be made. A, that Corey Perry's the perfect fit for the Oilers. B, that you shouldn't be tinkering with the team that's won 13 straight.
Yeah.
So if you have time, use it. If I'm Ken Holland, I'm using the next 6 weeks to evaluate what this team does. And I wait for the final moment.
Okay.
Because like Jesse,
what do you think?
To have some skepticism about the 13-game win streak. Like, it's obvious they're not perfect. So let's see what warts come out in the next 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jess?
In terms of slotting in Corey Perry?
Yeah. Well, where do you slot him? And if you're the Islanders general manager, and I know you have a ton of experience with this. Oilers, geez. Oilers. Islanders are next. Oilers GM. What do you do come deadline?
You know what I thought would be perfect serendipity that a lot of people have been throwing out there. I think they're just crossing their fingers that they hope it happens. But Seattle has to suck before this can actually come to fruition. Jordan Eberle. And returning Sam Gagner and Jordan Eberle back to the Edmonton Oilers to reunite the cast that was supposed to take them back to the promised land the first time.
Go get Cogliano, too.
Screw it. Wherever he's at.
Colorado, he scored on the Leafs, damn it.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be a fun return. I think there's still room to get a winger for the Edmonton Oilers. I think you can leave the defense alone if they really want to. Just go fill out the forward group.
You have the daily face-off Oilers lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Hyman on right wing. I think he's safe. Maybe. I guess we'll see. Warren Foegele, Derek Ryan, Connor Brown. One of the funniest comments I got from an Oiler fan after the Oilers beat the Leafs, it was just, Derek Ryan is 37. Which I did not.
That is funny.
Which I did not know. Now, the funny thing is, I think Corey Perry might be as well. But I don't know if putting Corey Perry. Jesus Christ. Think about Corey Perry on the right of Leon Draisaitl, Evander Kane.
That's a line that you just wouldn't want to play. Like, no offense to Warren Foegele. That's who I think. Him and Janmark, they've been a little bit like the whipping boys, right? Because it's like one of the... Well, you look at that lineup. Evander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, Warren Foegele. One of these things is not like the other, right?
So you could have him supplant Foegele. You could put him where Derek Ryan is. Connor Brown, I assume, is going to be in and out of the lineup at this point.
Eberle in this lineup would look really good, too. Jesse's right.
Yeah, Eberle's got 7 goals, 16 assists so far with Seattle. And on that right side, he's probably, if you want to keep Corey Perry lower in the lineup, that Warren Foegele spot's probably Eberle's.
Just play the wheels off of your top 2 lines. Just play the ever-loving dog shit out of them. I don't think there's a huge need to go out and get a center either, because that lineup is littered with guys who can play center if you need them to.
Yeah.
God, it's just cheaper to get a winger, too. Like, I don't think you're going to pay the premium.
Guys, is Ken Holland a genius?
I've never refuted that.
This is outrageous.
Ken Holland, oh gosh, he's on his way out, right? They already announced that he's leaving at the end of the season.
Well, why would they want to let him go when the team looks this good?
He's going off to pasture.
Are they putting what do they call it in F1, a gardening contract, where it's like we're going to pay you to go away?
They're dropping him off at the Ken Holland farm,
where he can play with all the other Ken Hollands.
Yes,
Charizard farm in the mountains somewhere, which is near enough to Edmonton. There's a mountain range there.
Yeah, he stopped listening. So he's going to stay at the Ken Holland farm to discover himself amongst the other Ken Hollands.
I like that. I hope he comes back for the movie.
He will.
Connor McDavid, the movie.
You can't, and he'll walk out of the shadow.
Is Connor McDavid Mew or Mewtwo?
Mew.
Yeah?
No, because he essentially,
Because Mewtwo is a little bit evil, so you have to have maybe Kucherov's Mewtwo?
No.
McKinnon?
No, McDavid is Mewtwo, because surgically repairing your knee without surgery is something Mewtwo would do. So I'm going to say Mewtwo.
Okay, good point.
Yes.
Good point. You know when you haven't seen somebody for a long time?
Yeah.
And you meet them.
Yeah.
And you're like, you talk all night, and it's like, it's like we've been friends this whole time, and it's been so long, and you pick up where you left off.
Just right where you left off.
That's how we feel about Manscaped, baby. Balls!
Let's go.
Cheers to a new year from our friends at Manscaped, because your resolutions shouldn't be the only thing that are well kept. 2024 is the time for new heights, new opportunities, and a new look for your Times Square balls.
Times Square ball.
Yeah, because the ball dropped.
That's interesting. They didn't go for the easy one. The easy one would have been ball drop.
Yeah. Times Square balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Whether you're looking to maintain a trim or go for that clean-shaven look, this trimmer has you covered. Jesse, you use the face trimmer.
Yeah, I use it to trim my beard because I like they have a little dial function where you just turn it, and instead of like swapping out blades, you just turn the dial, and that gives you the length you want. So you get set as like a 3.5, and then you shave, and then you can move it if you want to do a little fun trim in there.
Underrated product, the nose hair trimmer.
Great,
dude.
Fantastic.
Underrated product.
Yeah,
especially over 35.
I'm just saying.
I also use it on my ears.
Yes.
3 weeks from now, what's coming up?
Your birthday?
Valentine's Day.
Hey!
Oh.
Maybe a little special gift for your special someone.
Ooh, we can
Little
help you out with that.
Manscaped.
And here's the thing. Why would you pay full price when you can use our code? It's DANGLE. How do you spell it?
DANGLE.
For 20% off and free shipping. Happy New Year and happy new balls. So as your business grows, things like IT need to grow along with it. And I think everybody has these like business dreams of, wow, I started a business and I'm going to grow it. But nobody's like, ooh, I can't wait to expand the IT department.
Right.
I'm thrilled.
But it's necessary.
It's very, very necessary. As Jesse mostly knows on our team, because Jesse's the one that manages it all. But if you're looking for security, remote working requirements, backups, all of this stuff is really, really important. And with MCAL, you can have this. And it's a team at the fraction of a cost of an in-house IT person. Whether your company's 10 employees or 150, MCAL can help. They offer the ultimate help desk for small, medium businesses for all your staff. And they've also structured their business around maximizing customer satisfaction. And here's the best part. Support requests are typically solved in under an hour.
Oh, crap.
Oh,
Wow.
That's big. That's big.
That's
crazy.
Hour? Jesse and I worked at a company which specialized in IT. And it took weeks. You had to make a ticket. And I'm like, but I need my computer now. And they're like, sorry, we'll talk to you next week. MCAL will do it now. And they are 100% Canadian. They are based in the GTA. This is a Canadian company that we'd love for you to support. So you have more important things to do than worry about IT. They will take care of it. MCAL, in many cases, you can start them the same day. And there's a 1-month free trial basis. You enter the promo code DANGLE, DANGLE, to receive an extra free month. Go to www.
Maddie, pull it up. Pull up how happy we are.
Look how happy we are.
So happy.
Like, say the website where you got to go.
www.
Yeah.
EMCAL.ca/SDPN. That's EMCAL.ca/SDPN.
And if you're going there for the IT services, obviously, like, that's great and everything.
Yeah.
But if you just go there and you want to look at our gorgeous faces hugging, that's also a great reason to go there.
Hugging buddies.
Because we're on the website and we are just having a splendid time.
And
Big underrated photo.
big shout out to MCAL for jumping on the pod. We thank you, MCAL. I want to talk about, we just got the news about Patrick Waugh when we went to Kingston, and obviously if you haven't checked out that episode, there's a bonus episode of the SGP, which is great. Patrick Waugh on the island.
Boo. Shut up. No, Patrick Waugh is going to say, yeah, I'm in Long Island, and they're going to be like, you're right, Patrick.
Yeah, what are they going to say?
What are you going to? He'll punch you in the throat.
I said this on Sunday, but I thought it was worth repeating. I was watching actually some of the Islanders fans that I follow just heartbroken last week because Islanders fans live and die by that team.
Yeah.
And they're like, this team is dead to rights. It's over. And as soon as Waugh stepped in, first off, super weird to see him in that Islanders tracksuit. Second, he was stopping practice dead, yelling at the guys, telling them they were not detailed enough. And he said, whatever the line rushes were, he said, we need to be good at this. We need to be good at this. And he gets a big OT win in his first game as head coach.
Which is not something the Islanders have had a lot of. They did beat the Leafs in overtime, but they have 11 overtime and shootout losses, which leads the league.
So I compiled some stuff, and I wanted to hear both of your reactions to this.
Sure.
So here's how it ended in Colorado, which is probably why we haven't seen Waugh since 2016. He abruptly resigned, citing a lack of alignment between himself and the organization. It left the Avalanche in a difficult situation. You have to remember, they had like finished first or something, or top 3, and then they had missed the playoffs the next 2 years.
Yeah.
because their Corsi was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And he said on Saturday when he was at his press conference that he understands that might have played into why he didn't get a chance until this week. And he also told Lou Lamoriello, or maybe Lou Lamoriello told him, Patrick, you have zero interest in management.
Interesting.
Right? Because he did say that he told Lou he has zero interest in management. But I think if you work under Lou, you have zero interest in management.
Yeah, but like I talked about this in the video that I made for our YouTube channel. No person not named Patrick Waugh would have this much hype with that resume. 3 years in the NHL. Yes, he won the Jack Adams.
Almost fought Boudreaux.
Well, his rookie year with the Avalanche is like one of the most validating arguments in the history of hockey analytics.
You mean his coaching rookie?
His rookie. Yeah, no,
Canadian
I'm not talking about 1986. I'm talking about his rookie coaching year. All year long, everyone was like, "No, they're a paper tiger." I think they finished third. They were incredible by results, but by process, they were awful. They lose in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, they went undefeated in the playoffs, as they didn't make them. Then they didn't make the playoffs again. Then he quit on Joe Sakic, who went on to bottom out, rebuild, and win a cup. Like, there are some guys who get fired and their reputation gets better because the team does shit without them.
Mm-hmm. Barry Trotz.
Yeah, a little bit, right? No one not named Patrick Waugh would be like a top candidate with that resume.
Jesse?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Guys,
he might do fine.
The Rampart stuff, I mean, they just won the Memorial Cup. That has to play into it, too.
So did DJ Smith.
I was listening to Frank Corrado this morning.
Yeah, it's not apples to apples.
Friend of the show, Frank Corrado. He said the Ramparts were one of the most detailed junior teams to ever win a Memorial Cup. He said usually in junior you get, big swings, which I think is part of the fun of watching junior.
Yes.
He said you just didn't see that from them. They were like robotic.
Yeah, Scott Wheeler was saying something similar on Twitter there about how the Ramparts, they're one of the most impressive junior teams of the last little while, and I think what he's done with that team, clearly winning a Memorial Cup, has been impressive, and I think he's been on the radar for a couple NHL teams.
Yeah.
We know he had an interview in Columbus. We know he had a little thing with Ottawa. I don't think he was seriously considered for that job, but they spoke to him at least.
Yeah.
So he's been on the radar for teams in the most recent memory. But yeah, that little gap there, unless he did this and he went back and he worked on his craft as coaching, I don't think he would get another job if he just kind of went away. But so thankfully he stayed within the game through this long little stint as not an NHL head coach. Else, that what he did there is like, okay, cross him off the list for the rest of the time.
Yeah, if his name was Chuck Snuffleupagus, he would be blacklisted by a bunch of teams.
How is Chuck these days?
Chuck, Mr. Snuffleupagus?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
the snuff.
He's fine.
Who knows if he can even go back to the Ramparts if he's not Patrick Waugh, because he left there to go to Colorado and then he went back there, So if his name's not Patrick Waugh, who knows if they even take him back after all of that. You have
to admit the red carpet has been laid out for
100%.
this guy. It's not unheard of, but his coaching life has been made easier for him because he's Patrick Waugh. I'm not saying he can't be successful, but
you think about Martin St. Louis, who had no NHL resume as a head coach, but the name recognition and what he did at the minorest of levels coaching got him in the door at the Canadiens, and then they're clearly impressed with the interviews and all that, and he gets the job, and now it's all kind of worked out. We'll see how it works out in the end, but that name recognition is what gets him that gig, the interview for the gig at least.
Yeah, and there is a weird magic to coaching, because if you look at two examples, like Pascal Vincent, who many people had pegged for years to be a head coach, haven't loved his first year in Columbus, and I'm sure he doesn't either. Dominic Ducharme, another guy where you're like, and I know I bring up this guy's name, but I was like, what? They got worse. They got worse under the guy. Luke Richardson was the guy they should have hired.
There's a difference between
and they went to the Cup final, and I'm saying that, by the way.
Didn't Ducharme win a cup with Vegas?
I don't know.
Or did they hired? He's an assistant now. Not everyone
is a head coach.
Yeah, not everyone's a head coach.
DJ Smith.
Yeah, some of them are better as assistants.
Here's what Patrick Waugh had to say about this. And by the way, do you guys know the rationale for Lou hiring Patrick? Do you know what internally what they looked at?
No.
So apparently
he beat Martin Brodeur in the Vezina race a bunch of times?
No.
Okay, I don't know.
So this is crazy.
Okay.
Apparently they looked at where head coaches in the NHL have their most success. So where overall do the best head coaches have their most success? And the data that they pulled said that it was their second stop, their second team. So like let's use Mike Babcock, goes to the finals with the Ducks, goes to Detroit, wins Cup.
Okay.
Like stuff like that. And that's the one I can think of right now. But the data says, and that doesn't necessarily just mean Cups, the data says that the head coaches do the best on their second team. So Patrick Waugh's name was at the top of guys who'd coached one team.
Now, he didn't say this because I heard Elliot Friedman talking about this in that he thinks this might have been something Lou was
and I've read it in a couple of different places too.
Yeah, but they probably got it from because Lou didn't say this.
No, well, Lou wouldn't say it.
Yeah, Lou and Waugh, they didn't so we don't know that this is actually what happened, but they were speculating that
interesting logic.
Yeah,
interesting.
Every time Elliot Friedman talks about Lou Lamoriello, it's with the air of a man trying to keep another man alive. You know what I mean? Well, because if a leak gets out there, Lou will, I think, simply have someone murdered.
Oh, well, we'll get to that, actually. There's something with that. But Patrick Waugh said this about the way the Islanders are going to play from now on. He said, it's playoff hockey for the Islanders from now on. When you got to catch 3 or 4 teams in front of you, you cannot approach them like a regular season game. That is the mentality we will have.
They don't play regular season hockey.
Yeah.
That's been the strangest thing about watching the Islanders. They don't really play like the Islanders. I think that's what's surprising everybody. Like, it's funny. They couldn't score goals. And they tried to get away from that. And I'm like, are you ignoring the fact that you win games anyway, though? Like, you metapod your way to success. You went to you got 2 Final Four berths out of it.
I think the problem was they got those Final Four berths and then they got older and slower on purpose.
And but a younger, better goalie. Like, you can tinker.
Yeah, you can.
But they tried to fundamentally change what they are. And I am fascinated to find out what Patrick Waugh thinks of Pierre Engvall.
Oh, me too.
Fascinated.
Nick Holden, who is the rumored guy that when Colorado traded him, that's when Waugh said, I'm out of here.
Lol.
So he said, obviously growing up watching him and hearing stories, the way he had coached in junior, I thought he was going to be really, really hard and yelling and all that stuff, showing the passion he always had. I found out that as a coach towards us players, he was the exact opposite. He was still very passionate and showed us his passion and wanting to win and helping the organization win, but he was very personable and wanted to talk with guys and know guys' opinions. He said there were times when Waugh laid into players and screamed during intermissions, but it happened less than you would expect. So this is a guy who, according to at least Nick Holden, would be closer to a player's coach, which is not his media perception.
I mean, you can't be that every day. Like you get yelled at every day, you just shut down.
Yeah.
You just shut down, like, as a natural human response. You can't be a shivering, quaking mess all the time.
Right.
So your body adapts. Right? You just go, well, it's just a day that ends in Y. If it happens every now and then, gets your attention. Right?
Now, Matt Barzal on Practicing with Patrick Waugh, he said, when Patrick is saying it, there's a little more oomph behind it. Mm-hmm. And I guess it comes down to the respect that, Jesse was talking about with like a Marty St. Louis, right? You've been there, you've done it. Players will listen, at least for the first little bit. If you can get them on board. Right, that was something in basketball Pat Riley was known for. Mm-hmm. He's a former player. He was okay, but he was like he was a great motivator. He could get inside your head and make you do things that you didn't think you could do.
Yeah, there are certain coaches who they don't have to spend a lot of time between jobs, and when they lose their job, it's not necessarily because they're a bad coach. It's like it's a bad fit, bad situation. The message got stale. Whatever. You go somewhere else, you'll be fine. I kind of think it's going to be a long time before Lane Lambert gets into the conversation again.
I feel bad for him because he was. You can never really go from the assistant to the head coach when you've been the assistant for so long in one place. He was the assistant in New York for 4 years. Mm-hmm. He was run there. He was there, and then he went through all the runs to the conference finals and the first round loss. And when you get promoted now to the head coach position, and all the same guys are there, and they look at you and they're like, "You're not the guy. You're not. How are you going to motivate anybody like that?" So I feel bad for Lane Lambert in this position.
That's a good point.
He took over. They were worse. They stayed worse. Got worse. He left.
Mm-hmm. Was it his fault? Like,
no, I mean, not necessarily, but like, I was just talking about Waugh's resume. Well, his is much worse, and his name's not Patrick Waugh. Mm-hmm. So it might be a while before his next head coaching gig. I wouldn't be shocked to see him behind an NHL bench as soon as next season.
You're asking about Ducharme earlier, and if he has a cup with Vegas. He only got the assistant coaching job in Vegas this season.
God, that sucks.
So he missed out on last. He wasn't there last.
Listen, I've always thought it must be so frustrating for someone to sit through the banner raising as someone who wasn't actually there.
Oh, imagine you're a player on that team. I guess it would be motivating because you're like, I want to do this. Yeah. I want to know what they know.
All right, boys.
Yeah.
Can I see your ring? No, it's okay.
How do you think it was for Marion Host 2 years in a row?
Pittsburgh,
Detroit, and then he got one in Chicago.
Corey Perry in Tampa, low-key.
I have never seen, at least I can't remember seeing, a team putting out a press release on Twitter about a person that they say they have not spoken to.
Never seen this before.
The New York Islanders, if you don't know, are run by a guy named Lou Lamoriello, who everybody's afraid of. Now, from what we know from his time in Toronto, as long as you're not contravening Lou's rules, he's a pretty affable guy. If you read Brian Burke's book, he talks about how he has a ton of respect for Lou, how they got along, how he doesn't really know Lou that well, even after years of working with him. But there are plenty of guys who have lots of great things to say about this person, but just don't contravene, don't get in the way of the rules.
There's no personal stories of Lou Lamoriello.
No
story starts with, so I was getting a beer with Lou.
No. And Lou does not like leaks.
Nope.
When Toronto had before Lou, and I think it's 11 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever it was.
A while.
People forget what a leaky ship the Toronto Maple Leafs were. It was brutal. You could see moves coming 3 months before they happened. You could see players traded 3 months before they happened. There were some direct connections between the Toronto front office and some insiders, and it was just terrible. It was a poorly run management group. And then Lou comes in, and it all goes away. We then knew nothing. So, like, I remember when the Leafs traded for, I think it was Brian Boyle at the 16-17 trade deadline.
Yes.
Everybody's like, what?
Where'd that come from?
Not a single insider had it. Nobody had it.
His first trade was he dealt 5 guys for Michael Grabner on picture day.
Yeah, Taylor Beck, who was so excited to be a Toronto Maple Leaf.
He got his picture taken. He did an interview with Paul Hendrick about how excited he is to be a Leaf. Never played a game. Traded on picture day.
Crazy. Now, the Islanders released a statement about Benoit Durocher. They say Benoit Durocher has not been hired by the New York Islanders. There are plans for president and general manager Lou Lamoriello to meet with Durocher in the future. Now, it's interesting because Waugh and Durocher have like this great relationship apparently, and it was reported that the Islanders had to hire him as a condition of hiring Waugh. Like right. Waugh said, if you want to hire me, that's my guy. But from what we've heard and what's been reported publicly, the Islanders are keeping both of their assistant coaches. That's already been confirmed.
Yeah, the bad thing about this leak was that there are people who have jobs right now. And if you're reporting that they're bringing in an assistant coach, that means somebody's getting fired, and that guy is not currently fired yet. So you're taking somebody's job away before it's gone, like Steve did with Steve Staios. Steve, the floor is yours to apologize.
I don't apologize for being right.
That wasn't, to be honest, though. It feels like that was coming anyway when they forfeited the first round pick, right? Yeah.
The Ottawa Senators had a general manager.
Yeah.
And Steve went out of his way to report that, hey, they're going to get this guy as their new one. And everyone's like, wait, they have a guy. And Steve's like, yep, he's getting canned.
I didn't fire him.
And then Chris Johnson reached out to the Gatineau Olympique, and they said this: Benoit is still the head coach of the Gatineau Olympique. As far as the organization is concerned, Benoit is maintaining his duties with the team until further notice.
I just learned something that ruined my day. Because I'm on Benoit Desrosiers's Hockey DB page.
Okay.
Adam, he's younger than the both of us.
That doesn't ruin my day. I'm
That
happy.
ruins
No,
my
why
day.
would that ruin your day?
Why does that ruin your day?
There's a lot of
ruins my
people
day.
working in hockey younger than you.
He's successful.
No,
Good for him.
I'm
Are you
still
jealous?
25.
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Do you want to be head? Do you want to be assistant coach of the Islanders?
No, I just
Is that a job you're gunning
no
for?
because when I started,
Adam, tweet out that Steve is a new candidate for the assistant coach of the.
Can't confirm that there's been no hire yet. Click, click, click.
Steve will not be hired.
Steve Stais is thinking about hiring me. He's impressed with my intel. No, I still remember I was like the same age roughly as the players I covered when I was covering junior. Then I go into the Leafs room when they're all rookies and I'm like, oh, I'm like a hair older than all these guys. And now I'm the same age as the coaching candidates and it bums me out.
And then soon you'll graduate to like the general manager.
Oh, God. How old's Kyle Davison? I need this. I need to know this real quick.
He's younger than you.
Yeah, Kyle Davis.
Son of a gun!
He's like a year younger than us.
No!
Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
A GM?
Yep. And he
35.
I think he came from.
I'm 35.
Am I wrong?
What month was he born?
He didn't even come from hockey. He was like baseball back.
88. Davidson is an 80.
Oh, he's the same age.
month?
July 1st.
Damn it!
So we are older than him, both of us.
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, we were a couple months old when he was born.
I don't know.
What have we been devoting our time to? We should have been volunteering at the I don't know what junior team did you do?
Ruining Pierre Dorian's life, apparently, according to Jesse.
What junior team were you the game host for?
Mississauga Steelhead.
That's right. We should have got into that organization, got into the coaching staff, because everybody starts at like the ground level, man. We should have been in.
You want to be the in-arena guy to the coach.
Yeah. Well,
That'd be one hell of a story.
it was like the head of the Detroit Lions, I think I mentioned, was a PR intern 18 years ago for the Rams.
Sam Kim was Sparky the Dragon, and now he's one
Yeah.
of the video review guys
that's
for the
cool.
league.
Wait, the GM of the Lions right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have to start somewhere, right? Like it's
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
like
totally.
So anyway, I don't know what it's like to be around Lou Lamoriello today, but I can't imagine it's fun with that sort of a league. So I'm my best to the Islanders support staff.
I think my first question to Lou Lamoriello, if I were ever to talk to him, was what's the thing that's made you laugh the hardest?
Oh,
I want to know what makes Lou Lamoriello laugh.
I bet a bad trade proposal makes him laugh.
Yeah.
No,
No,
I don't think.
I think so.
I think he just hangs up. I think he just hangs up.
Sending a horse head to somebody's house.
Stop
Probably
it.
laughs maniacally after that.
Lol.
Probably really enjoys it.
Oh man,
Pine cement bricks.
You don't speak to a man like Lou Lamoriello like that. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I want to know what makes what tickles Lou Lamoriello's funny bone.
We should take a moment here to tell the red phone story from the Leafs front office.
Are we allowed to?
We've told it on the show before.
Didn't someone tell this story before?
We told it on the show.
The rumor is Lou Lamoriello, when he became GM of the Leafs, is like, well, I need a secure phone line put in. And they're like, what? And so they started calling around, like people within the organization started calling around trying to figure out how to get a secure phone line. And what they were told by basically everyone they spoke to is that's not a thing.
So then they called the Devils.
Yeah, they called the Devils and they're like, wait, no, you tell.
From what I remember,
I forget the end of it.
But I remember the story. So they went through their IT. This is a rumor. This is lore. We don't know if this is true, but the lore is that they went through their IT department. They're like, every phone line, like unless it's a cell phone, Like if it's a landline, it's secure. Like it's fine.
Yeah. You don't need to worry about phone taps here.
So I don't know if the Devils are just punking the Leafs here, but what they said apparently was, well, change what color is his phone cord? And it was blue. And they're like, okay, change it to red.
So then Leafs IT went up to Lou's office and they just changed the phone cord and they said, okay, it's secure now.
Now we don't know if this is true, but if it is, it's so my grandfather doesn't know how to answer his emails. It's the best.
It's a really funny story until you realize the person who lied to Lou Lamoriello about his phone is now fish food.
Yeah. So sometimes for the new year, everybody's got their like resolutions. And I feel like sometimes they kind of go a little too hard. What if all you needed to do was rehydrate yourself?
Just hydrate.
With Liquid IV. Guys, you've actually used this in a physical setting.
Yeah.
I won a floorball championship with Liquid IV. So if you want to
that is an endorsement from an athlete. Look at him.
John Boy keeps the office stocked with that stuff, and just all that running around. You need a rapid hydration. Like you need to get that liquid back in your system. And Liquid IV, like the little packet, you throw it in your water bottle, you shake it up, you drink it. It's fantastic.
I'll have it when I'm just not feeling well, and like it just makes me feel better. It just seems to work. It gives me the stuff I was missing.
They've got some new flavors too: white peach, green grape, lemon lime. And it like I said, Jesse kind of mentioned this. It comes you don't have to like measure it out. It just comes in a package in your water bottle.
They got an apple flavor. The apple's fantastic.
Is that your favorite one?
Yeah, I think so. Right now, I'm going through them all. I gotta try them. But right now, I think apple's ranking number one.
I'm liking the green grape.
There are no GMOs. There are 8 vitamins and nutrients. There are no artificial sweeteners and 0 sugar, and it's 3 times the amount of electrolytes of the leading sports drink. They will remain nameless. But Liquid IV won't. Rehydrate yourself for the new year. Grab your Liquid IV hydration multiplying sugar-free in bulk at nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off your first order at liquidiv.com. Use the code DANGLE. Spelled how, guys?
DANGLE.
That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today by using the promo code DANGLE at liquidiv.com. Also available at Costco. Hey, Todd McLellan, who's been on the hot seat in LA, like there have been conversations, I guess, in LA fan circles about should he even be the coach. This is what he had to say about Pierre-Luc Dubois, who's been a massive disappointment this year. There's no other way to state it.
Which year is this?
He said, at the end of the day, whether Pierre-Luc gets 4 minutes or 24 minutes, he has to be a difference maker. And with or without the puck, we've gone through this long enough. It's time.
Playing for him or against him, he seems to be an enormous pain in the ass.
That's crazy, huh?
Can I tack something onto our earlier conversation?
Of course.
Easily the most entertaining replacement for Todd McLellan, if the Kings were to fire him, Jay Woodcroft. And then they play the Oilers in the first round.
Well, I mean, that would be the second time that LA has hired a former Oilers coach.
Yep.
And I mean, McClellan's been really successful with the Kings. I wouldn't give up on him yet, but
trade deadline arrives awful quick.
Man,
how incredible would that be?
I don't know what the deal is with this player. I don't know what the deal is with this guy. Yeah, but it's just a bizarre. He's had a bizarre career. Can we just say it?
Of course.
A completely bizarre career.
Well, starting with he was picked
third or fourth
overall in a season where he was drafted as a center and had only played half of a season at center.
Wow.
Remember that?
Yeah.
He was a winger.
Yeah, I do.
Who I can't remember his junior team, the Armada. I can't remember. They made him a center halfway through, and he was picked above Puljujärvi, which at the time was outrageous.
Yeah, the Blue Jackets, because we thought Jarmo would pick a Finnish guy.
Yeah, well, and also like Laine. It wasn't until later in the draft year that Laine kind of pulled ahead of Puljujärvi.
Mm-hmm.
Like those two were supposed to go 2-3.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, this is a guy who just got a pretty good contract and, career high 63 points, and he's got 19 and 44 with the LA Kings.
Like even on
he's
the
on
fourth
pace,
line,
Steve. He's on pace for less than 40 points.
That's a disaster for someone who makes 8.5.
I think it's 8.5.
Complete disaster. Like, that's a player who, even getting his minutes cut, should be eating those minutes alive. Like, he's playing against depth competition. He should be killing them. Is he a minus player?
Do you want to know how bad?
How bad?
Guess how bad.
Minus 10.
Worse.
15.
Minus 13.
Oh, man. Dude, what a drag.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you need? How long is his deal? 8 years?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. Now, he hasn't asked for a trade.
Hockey is funny. Well, why would you want a trade from LA? Hockey's funny. You know, you can have a good back half and everything's forgotten. Yeah. You can have a great playoff and your shitty regular season is forgotten. And you can be great 7 of 8 years and nobody will remember the 8th year where you sucked, unless you're in Toronto. But $8.5 million. He takes up 10% of the cap until what's the year? Because I always find that 2030, 2031. Guys,
dude,
pain. What do you do?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find out like who he could even model the rest of his season after. Brian Bickle in the 2013 season. No, he's not even that bad. So he had 23 points in the 48 game shortened season. And in that playoff run in 23 games, he had 17 points.
Why did you think of Brian Bickle?
Because I'm trying to think of guys who had a meh regular season who then went on to just destroy worlds in the playoffs.
Matt Bolesky.
Oh, I'd have to look that one up. But yeah, it can still happen. The trade deadline arrives quickly. The playoffs arrive quickly. Like, the Kings get out of the slump immediately if the whole rest of the team is fine and Dubois just plays the way Dubois is expected to play.
We deserve a Winnipeg, Los Angeles first round, don't we?
100%.
We deserve it.
Where he either kills the Jets or the Jets kill him.
Or they go to war for 7 games.
They go to war for 7 damn games. I mean, when you were talking about those Western series, other than the Canucks one, which, whatever, that's just let them
put some respect on Arizona or Nashville.
I'll put respect on Arizona.
They both got goalies, though. That's the thing.
That
is true. A goalie can keep you in a playoff series.
Absolutely.
We've seen.
Vancouver's got some guy, I forget his name. But I hope all those series go 7.
Yeah. One thing with Todd McLellan is like, when do we start questioning his resume? Because he's been a part of this like great turnaround for the Los Angeles Kings. He went through the 2 years where they don't make the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they look like they're back to being the dominant Kings. But if you go back and you look, he hasn't made the second round of the playoffs as a head coach since 16-17.
With Cam Talbot and the Oilers. Right?
That was the last time, and they lost in the second round that year. So, and he's been a head coach that entire time. It's not like he's missed a whole bunch of time. So I don't know. Is Todd McLellan the long-term solution in LA?
If I can say this, I loved what he did in San Jose before the Oilers, which is how he got that job. I mean, that team, that San Jose Sharks era should have won. They should have won a cup. They didn't. They got to Game 6.
That's most eras of the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, but that one especially, Hall of Famer. Probably had 4 Hall of Famers on the team.
They went to the final.
Yeah.
A couple appearances in the conference final.
Yeah, really appreciate the second round picks for, I think, Winnick and Roman Polak guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
But
Nick
Spalling, yeah. But, and I think Rafi Torres became a Leaf in the organization. He never played, though.
Reimer. Yep.
But I want to say that he was coaching a deeply flawed Oilers team. Like, we now see the Oilers super upgraded. But what Pete Chiarelli put on the ice... We talked about, Patrick Waugh didn't get a job in the NHL for a long time. Like, Pete Chiarelli's name even being thrown out there for the Senators GM job was outrageous. Like, you had the best player in the world, and then you had a guy who everybody thought was going to be pretty good. But did anyone see Leon Draisaitl's second best player in the world, arguably?
No. Or he would have gone first. That was, wasn't that the Ekblad draft? I'm pretty sure that was the one in Philly. And then Sam Reinhart went second.
Wow.
And he's only now living up to... This is the first season of his career where it's like, oh, okay, he's sort of matching Draisaitl.
Yeah.
And it's 10 years after his...
Yeah. And that's without the playoff success that Draisaitl's had too. And so when you take it all in kind, I'm going to give Jesse, to answer your question, this is a really long answer, I'm going to give McLellan a pass on the Oilers years because I don't think there was much he could do.
Well,
but the Kings one is a head scratcher. They got to get the goaltenders sorted out. They got to get PLD going.
Yeah. And the 16 season, by the way, when the Sharks went to the Cup final, he had already moved on.
Oh, had he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The year before was his last year in San Jose.
Okay.
Well, that's even worse. So here's why a shakeup maybe due there in LA. They played the Oilers in the playoffs. They lost. They played the Oilers again in the playoffs. They lost. We as Leaf fans selfishly remember the 3-0 win in LA against the Kings. But what was talked about heading into that game was the Kings had just suffered a really difficult emotional loss, which was they were red hot, and right before that Leaf win, they lost to the Oilers, who they had that circled on their calendar, and they lost, and they've never been the same since. That team needs to be grabbed by the collar and shaken, and the coach might have to be the casualty there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like, he might not be the right guy.
Is PLD going to lose McLellan his job?
Well,
I mean,
that's got to be one of the things that they need McLellan to succeed on.
It's the team. Like, I mean, PLD is certainly part of it. I'm not going to say...
If PLD is scoring normally, though, I don't think the LA Kings are in a wild card spot.
Yeah, I agree. But...
it's like a goal or two.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, but you should be able to win with PLD on your fourth line. Oh. Like, they were pretty good before they got him.
Well, so who would you rather have? David Kampf and his contract on your fourth line, or PLD and his contract on your fourth line?
I think a torpedo.
The Leafs played Seattle on the Frontenacs night. So, Steve, you still managed to get home, and do that. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things because I know the game's a little bit in the rearview mirror. It's already Tuesday, but Nick Robertson coming in and having a great game. And listen to this praise from Sheldon Keefe. I loved every second that he played on the ice. He did a tremendous job, not just because he scored the goal, but how he worked and how he managed the game.
To me, that's every night watching him. He'll make a mistake here or there, but like on a team that you desperately want to work harder than they do, I don't think you can take him out of the lineup. Like, unless you're just trying to extract everything you possibly can out of Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I keep saying I don't think it's a disaster if he plays in the minors. I guess it's not a disaster if he's a healthy scratch too. He has goals in 4 of his last 6 games played. You can't scratch that player.
Now, I wondered about this quote, and I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist here.
Go for it.
Today, Chris Johnson and Harman Dayal of The Athletic put together NHL trade candidates who are under the radar, 10 players who are falling out of favor. Phil Broberg in Edmonton.
Yep.
Morgan Frost, Jesse mentioned, in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Oliver Wahlstrom in New York on the island.
Wow.
Arthur Kaliev in LA.
Yep.
P.O. Joseph with the Penguins. Olsen with the Sabres. Brandstrom, who I still think has got something, and he just got stuck with the Senators.
Left winger, Brandstrom?
No.
Did you see that? They had him playing on the wing the other night.
Get him out of there!
Look, who's there?
Let it trade this man.
The left side of their decor is Chikrin, Shabbat, and Sanderson.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is he playing?
You can't play him.
You gotta play him they had to play him at left wing. It's so stupid.
Get me out of here.
Texier in the Blue Jackets, Bergen with the Detroit Red Wings, and Nick Robertson of the Toronto Maple Leafs are on the list of guys that potentially have fallen out of favor and could be traded. Is there a thing here where if you keep shit-talking the player to the media, and we've seen this in Toronto before,
yes.
You keep shit-talking the player to the media, his value, weirdly enough, goes down.
Yes.
But if you keep talking about how great he is, a la Dion Phaneuf, and don't, listen.
Yes.
Dion Phaneuf was pumped and dumped. His stats looked great in Toronto because they wanted it that way, and then Ottawa picked him up, and Toronto got out from under that contract. And I'm not saying that like Nick Robertson's got some crazy deal, but are they trying to pump up Nick Robertson's value, or is he a part of the Toronto Maple Leafs in the future? And I certainly hope it's the second.
He has goals in 4 of his past 6 games. That's a player you praise. I think it'd be better to praise him by giving him more than 9 minutes of ice time. Like I don't know what he wants. I don't know what is wanted. Like of all the things that you tried, you know what Robertson does that might make him worthy of a tryout on the top line? Plays with both hands on his stick.
Yeah, Pontus Holmberg doesn't love that, does he?
I love that about him. That's great. Like, you know who's played more games in a season than Matthew Nyes? Nick Robertson. And I'm not trying to denigrate Matthew Nyes. He looked good next to his usual line mates with Matthews and Marner. The left wing has been so bad this year. And to me, there just hasn't been enough justification to scratch Robertson as often as you have.
Now, I know his skating, he's not exactly fleet of foot, but neither is Bertuzzi. So could you move him next to Tavares and give him a shot with Nylander?
Why the hell not?
Because like if Nyes is playing well with Matthews Marner, you just keep that together. Because you need Nyes to get going, right?
Bertuzzi's probably the strangest player on the team. Like in terms of what do you do with this person? Underlying numbers, pretty good. Brain farts per 60, pretty bad.
6 goals.
Counting stats, oh, fucking horrible.
Robertson has more goals than Bertuzzi.
Wow.
Robertson's got 7. By the way, can anybody guess, let's add to this, how many minutes did Robertson see against Seattle?
It was like 8.5.
Jesse, what do you think?
9:13.
14 shifts, 8:52. You guys are both pretty close. 8 minutes and 52 seconds.
He has more goals than Bertuzzi.
Yeah. He does.
That's insane.
Like you have to put that in perspective. And by the way, Bertuzzi's got more assists, but the spread is not that far.
I want to know the ice time difference.
How many goals
did total
Bertuzzi
ice
have
time difference
last season, do you think, off the top of your head, Steve?
Robertson?
Bertuzzi.
Not a lot because he was injured a lot. How many games did he play?
29 plus 21.
So almost, well,
I'm going to say
50.
12.
12 goals? He had 8 goals last season. Bro. So he's currently he has 6 goals and 45 so far this season. So he's about the same pace.
if he doesn't pick it up, he's spending money in free agency. Like
He spent a fortune.
like the long-term deal that he's looking for, which we know he's looking for. And I don't think it's going to come in Toronto. Even if he had been great in Toronto, I think that made it less likely that he'd re-sign here. He's got to get the advanced numbers are great, but the teams are going to look at the final result and be like, yeah, but. And I look at this, and I'm not trying to pick on Tyler Bertuzzi because I've been pro Bertuzzi. Personally, I think the player is good, and I think he's been snake bit just like Tavares, which is why I think you split them up. Tavares has been snake bit. Bertuzzi's been snake bit. Nylander has been spectacular, but snake bit lately. Maybe there's some to that, guys. And I look at Bertuzzi playing 15-28, Nick Robertson playing 8-52.
Yeah. My thing about the Tavares slump right now is I have trouble remembering so many opportunities where I'm like, that one should have been a goal.
Yeah.
You know, when a guy is like really going, but they're not getting their chances. There's a lot of posts and they're in the action a lot. With Tavares, when I think back on the games during this losing slump, I'm not like there was a whole bunch of, man, he should have had that one. You know, so I worry about his game a little because there's not an abundance of he's in the action a lot.
Would you try something stupid like Domi in the middle, Tavares on the left, Nylander on the right?
I don't know if it helps to put him on the wing.
I mean, we got to do something. Like something needs to be done with this.
We need to do it.
Me, who
the coaches,
is getting a day with the cup and a ring when they win this year. By the way,
I remember when Steve and I were lucky enough to host a little bit on The Fan. Dave Cadeau pulled me into his office after one of the shows, and he's like, "Hey, it's going well. It's going well," because he had to teach us how to do talk radio, which we'd never done. And he said, "The one thing I will say, there's just one point." I'm like, "Okay," and he's like, "When you're talking about a team, you can't call it we." He's like,
I don't remember doing that.
Yeah, well, and he said it. He just said it to me. He's like, he's like, because you're not a part of the team.
Right.
It is called The Fan, so we're supposed to represent the fans, but it can't be we.
Yeah, that was a long time rule on Tim and Sid when I worked there. It's like you don't say we. You're not on the team, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
when you're in the broadcast environment.
I very rarely slip up and do that
in podcasts.
Oh well,
cares.
Well. Do you remember the other thing he said?
What?
When we're going to break, You're not paying the bills.
Oh, I never. Well, that was from Pop Radio. We never said that in Pop
All right,
Radio.
we're going to go pay some bills. We'll be right back.
Yeah, you never say we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You never say anything. You just go, this is what's next, blah, 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 tease, and then commercials kick in. Now, we talked about this on the Sunday show, but I would assume...
We never really solved the Bertuzzi thing. Or Tavares thing, did we?
Just play fucking Robertson. Like, I don't care what you do with the rest of the lineup. Play the guy who's scoring.
So we're not moving him to the wing? I don't think.
Tavares?
Tavares, yeah. With Domi.
I would try it, but who's playing third line center?
That's what I'm saying. It's like they can't take away from where you're not really strong.
Callie Arncroke, we need you to do one more thing for this team. Dude,
Can you
please.
When I saw the lineup, with the exception of the weird fourth line and putting Timmins in there, I'm looking at the top three lines. I'm like, this is just the lines they used when they were winning. Why did they get away from this in the first place? And why did they get away from this for so long?
Mm-hmm.
It's just annoying. Like I know Keefe was not loving how some of the guys were playing, but it feels like he made changes to get their attention. They promptly lost nearly every game. He went back to it and they won.
Well, I guess we know what to do.
Give the coach credit for overriding himself.
That's what it is. Big props.
Like, there are lots of arguments to defend Sheldon Keefe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of arguments.
I don't
say what the fuck.
I'm not at the fire Keefe spot yet, but I understand why people are. Right? You get it.
Yeah. Oh.
Get it.
Oh. I don't hold it against them at all.
Not even
the way the last month has gone. No way.
I don't think it's unreasonable to think that, like, hey, firing a head coach in the NHL often works and you get a free coach bump, unless you're the Ottawa Senators where it's not really working, but everywhere else. And like Nashville's kind of been just a little better. They haven't been a crazy bump, but most times when you fire the head coach and you bring in somebody new, there's a jolt to the guys in the locker room.
Ottawa's is so bad that they might fire their head coach, hire a new one, not see any results, and lose Jake Chychrun.
Oh my God.
Like that guy, like he apparently is not, there's rumors he's not going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Jacques Martin?
No, Jake
Chychrun.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, that came out the other day.
Because they want to win.
The Dorian era, what a disaster.
It looked good. Mm-hmm. It was tantalizing.
It did. I mean,
the August Cup was looking good for the Senators.
Absolutely.
Dude, they almost won the real cup.
Not under Dorian, though.
Yeah, he was there.
He was there that long?
He was there, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was there forever. He was there when they made it to the conference final.
Well, he didn't, let's be honest, he didn't put that team together.
Who did? I'm trying to remember who
not Murray. Who drafted Carlson? Was it Murray? Brian Murray?
I don't know.
No idea.
I can't even remember. The other thing that's broken in Leafs land is Ryan Reaves' knees. Reaves' knees. Now, we talked about this on the Sunday show, but I'm going to bring these quotes up again. Luke Fox from Sportsnet.ca said this. The braces, which Ryan Reaves wears, have long been a staple of Reaves before his recent injury. He said, I have very loose knees. I've torn both knees like a ton of times, and I just don't feel comfortable on the ice without these braces anymore. I've tried taking them off, and my knees are so loose that when I cut, like to get out of bed the next morning, sometimes they pop out, so I keep them on. I wouldn't even practice without them. Now, this is one part of an article that is really about Ryan Reaves and his frustration with, unfortunately, not being a part of the Leafs lineup, which I don't think is what anybody envisioned when he came in here, except for everybody who was absolutely right about him. And I was not one of them. I was like, listen,
those first two games were great.
I'm willing to try. I'm willing to be open to this. We know that he can't. And we understand now when he hit his knee against the boards and he had to leave the game, it kind of makes a lot more sense, right?
And then we saw him fall in the tunnel. You remember that? Everyone was like, what the hell's happening? Remember when he went back and then he kind of disappeared? Yeah. Everyone was like, what happened there? You know, and then that's kind of, I assume his knees gave out.
Dude, I don't think you get to say all those things and then be like, and also I should be playing.
Well,
you need your knees.
Also, if I'm MLSE and / the Leafs management, I'm pissed. Because now I'm going to get a call from the NHL about IR circumvention. because he's on IR right now. And if he's coming out publicly and doing an article and saying I'm healthy, then you got to get a call from the league and they got to prove that he's going to be on IR, because they've been stamping down on this the last couple of years because people have been trying to get around LTIR.
If you are the Leafs, though, Jesse, do you not go back with, did you read the quotes, Gary?
Yeah,
dude, he's got loose
people
knees.
have been put on LTIR for less.
Yes, but they're going to have to prove it now with the medical reports.
I don't think it'll be hard.
I don't think it'll be hard either, but it's just your employee making a situation a pain in the ass for you.
Yeah. Well,
you want to wake up one day and be like, all right, now we got to go file paperwork with Gary.
I think it's a very short conversation. Gary, he has trouble getting out of bed.
So
he says he's healthy and can play.
And then he says
my knees.
He refutes his own case.
Yeah.
No, he cannot. You're telling me this player right now is more healthy than Joffrey Lupul was when he was on Robidas Island? Not a chance.
Mm-hmm. Who also caused the Leafs a bunch of pain when he was just all of a sudden, several months into his Robidas Island, was like, you know what? I can play hockey.
Yeah, I can.
And then they took that away from him completely and were like, nope, Joffrey, go back to where you were.
They didn't announce nothing.
No.
They just
get on your snowboard, do whatever it is you were doing.
Stuffed him in a trunk.
Fuleman had
retirement.
Fuleman had a great tweet about this. He said, "Sure, the Reaves signing was for too long, an overpayment, and totally ineffective at protecting the team. But at least his lower body is made of jelly, and he's giving interviews complaining about being on IR to embarrass the franchise." It is top to tail that interview he gave, and I don't think this was his intention, but that's part of the problem. Is that this is not looking good on Tree.
Yeah.
And this was one of the marquee guys.
Well, okay, you don't want to pay Sheldon Keefe to not coach the team. You're about to give Ryan Reaves like $4 million to not play.
Can you buy him out? We go through
it's easier to send him down. Yes, you can.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you can. My bad.
It's not a 35 contract that's has buyout protection, but it's even easier just to send him down.
Oh, yeah.
The cost savings are, I think, you save like even $100,000 more if you just send him down.
But I was told, somebody said earlier this year that you can't send him down and that the cap wouldn't be protected. What did they say?
Because he's a 35 plus contract, but it came out something like a month ago.
That his contract isn't a 35.
Yeah, it doesn't qualify.
It doesn't qualify. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fucking cap.
So you can just send him down and that's it.
He's not going to play for the Marlies.
No.
He'll ride off into the sunset.
So the other thing with that, I think there's two things that's going on there about him being a pain in the ass for the organization. Is one, now you got to go justify why he's on IR. Two is you're supposed to be the locker room guy. And you're going to the media and talking shit about your job in the lineup. This doesn't sound like the guy who's choosing the music and keeping everybody hyped up to go on a playoff run. What the hell is this?
Well, I think at a certain point you gotta be like, hey, what about me? Right? Like
they brought him in to be the fun, let's go golfing guy.
Yeah.
And then now you're the I complain to the media guy?
Well,
I'm so confused.
He's also a hockey player, and hockey players by nature, no matter what their condition, say I can play. You know who also offered to play? Rich Peverly, who moments before saying, hey, I'm good to go, let me back out there, his heart stopped. Anyone remember that?
Yeah, the Boston he was Boston or Dallas?
I think he was on Dallas at the time.
Okay.
He was on
Boston, do remember that.
And I think he was in the Seguin trade.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And he's like, yep, let me out there, like as the story goes. And the Dallas Stars wisely said, absolutely not.
Patrice Bergeron playing with a collapsed lung.
Yes. Yes. Hockey players are wired to be like, put me out there. And so I don't blame him for that or for thinking that. It's not a great look to do it in front of a mic.
It's also rare for the Leafs to have a PR situation like this.
Who did he give the interview to?
Luke Fox. Who's like team owned.
Oh, yeah.
Broadcast partner owned.
All right. Okay.
State media.
How dare you?
Steve they went to the state media and did this.
Steve, what was it like working at the state media? Actually, Jesse, you worked at the state media too.
It was a lot of going,
We all did.
Look at all this money.
Look at all this money.
Yeah. It's just like you don't expect Matthews to go and do an interview with CJ and talk shit. Like it's just weird. We got this Ryan Reaves, Luke Fox interview about him complaining about the Leafs.
That's a reporter doing his job.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, credit to Luke Fox. Actually.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's just, this doesn't happen with the Leafs.
It is rare. It has been some time. I'm trying to think of the I don't know. Like, are we just maybe misinterpreting what he's saying? Is it reading poorly?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't. I
Does
think,
he walk it back?
I don't think anybody's like Ryan Reaves is a bad guy after reading this. It's going in. It's playing into the narrative that we already had, which is what happened this summer. What happened this summer, guys? And what happened was you fired your GM 5 weeks out from the draft. The new GM couldn't take over until after the first round pick. And you had an 18-hour meeting or whatever it is you claim you had.
17.
And you swung and missed on just about every free agent. I think Max Domi's been fine. He's been perfect value. And I think I want to see Max Domi in the playoffs. I think Simon Benoit has been good. I think Will Lagesson as a depth pickup has been good. But like, what else, man?
No, he's on a milk carton.
Right. I know.
They won't play him.
I don't understand that.
They won't play him.
You'll play Connor Timmins, but you won't play William Lagesson.
They won't play him.
Okay.
So
and then but this is the thing, right? Like it's starting. It didn't look great, but we were trying to be open to it. Mm-hmm. Then it's gotten worse, and every day it's gotten worse.
Yeah. Like, dude, you're gonna hit on some.
Sure.
For God's sake, like
you're gonna miss on some.
Yeah, and you're gonna miss on some. But you hit on more than you miss. He has not.
Not yet. Now, Klingberg, in my mind, is history. Like, he's LTIR. He's gone. He's not even, like, he's not really on the team. He's never going to play another game. I'm, like, over that. But I think what's unfortunate is that signing prevented other things from happening. Had they waited a day, Matt Dumba would have still been available at the same amount of money. That's what pisses me off about the Klingberg signing.
I know the Leafs medical staff have had a lot of success stories over the years. They're not wizards. What did you think was going to happen? And they're going to look at John Klingberg's hip and go, and it's just going to fix itself. And they're going to look at Ryan Reaves' knees and go, and they're just going to all of a sudden stick together the way knees do. What I don't understand what thought process went into these signings. Like, you sign guys knowing they're a little busted at all times, and you go, how do we manage it? Right? They've done it in the past to some success. Tyler Ennis
is a great story.
That was a great story. Detroit signed Patrick Kane knowing full well we got to manage that hip.
And to an extent, every hockey player past age 28, 27, 25 is busted.
I remember hearing years ago that JVR required a lot of body maintenance.
I remember the story, yeah.
Still kicking, still contributing well on the Boston Bruins. Mm-hmm. Years and years after I heard this.
That's why it's maintenance.
It was like hours for him to just get ready to go to the rink and play, you know?
But here he... Oh, you mean he tends to his body that is his living? Mm-hmm. What a loser, am I right? Mm-hmm. Like... I don't know, but these are obviously injuries they're too much, man.
Yeah.
They're too much.
In the Revo piece, there was that small quote too about how he talked to his agents. You know, that was also one of the pieces in there. And you wonder what that is inferring that, hey, there's probably not another place in the NHL right now because you're a healthy scratch. Like, we can't get you anywhere where you can play. Mm-hmm. So you got to kind of just fight it out here in Toronto.
Yep. Yeah, and that does happen a lot more than people know. Like, it's rarely reported, but yeah, of course he's going to talk to his agent. I would.
He's not happy.
If you believe, of course. What are you looking up, Steve?
His agent is Kevin Epp. I was looking up.
I don't know who Kevin Epp is. I don't believe I've heard his name before.
Who are other clients?
Reaves is the only one on the Leafs.
No, like in terms of the league.
Andre Burakovsky, Jakob Silverberg, UC Saros, Bowen Byram, Oscar Lindblom, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Antti Ranta. Yeah.
What an interesting client list.
Yes, indeed.
Tom Fitzgerald has been extended for multiple years as of this recording. So the New Jersey Devils will keep their general manager despite a bit of an off season. I think that there are reasons for that.
Fire Lindy.
No. No.
Fire Lindy.
Maybe.
Is that coming back?
I don't know. I don't know. The Devils have been the Devils and the Sabres for me have been the two teams where I go, really? You know? Really?
Yeah.
That much?
That much?
That bad? Okay.
He's never been able to solve goaltender.
No.
Like his entire tenure.
Well, he had Mackenzie Blackwood.
Hey, how dare you? Yeah. Well, I mean, coaches. I almost said coaches get goalies fired. No, goalies get coaches fired.
Yeah. And by the way, it's not that bad for the Devils. They've played 2 less games than the Lightning, and they have 2 less points.
They've also they started the season unrealistically hot. Remember, Jack Hughes was getting like 3 points a game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt.
Yeah.
Now he's hurt again. How do I know this? I have him in fantasy, and it's fucking ruining my day. It's ruining my day.
I don't know. There were some guys at the event in Kingston, and they run a fantasy only podcast, and they were talking about how they hate most of the moves that you make.
I'm doing well.
He talked about the Tage Thompson move. He's like, yeah, I hated that.
I hated that
is what they said. Yeah.
And then Wool got hurt immediately after. I'm like, oh fuck, man.
Yeah. with Tom Fitzgerald and the goaltending in New Jersey, Vitek Vanacek, who's their starter. Do you guys know what his save percentage is so far this year?
Oh man,
it's really bad, isn't it?
It's like to the point where you're like, how do you start him? Isn't it?
Yeah.
882.
883.
Oh wow,
off. It's not great, and like. If
How's
you have
Nico Dawes, the better goalie.
Yeah, when you have a team they're underperforming a little bit on offense, like there's so much more room to get going for the Devils based on what we saw last year. Their potential is so much higher, but like you got to start from the net out. I think for them.
Well, and Dawes at a 903, like that's roughly league average these days, and he's 3-4.
Yeah,
so you can't blame it all on goaltending.
My other thing is
Vanacek's record is what?
16-7-2. With a 328 GAA.
God bless the Devils. They
How?
are a good team.
The shit.
I know.
What?
Because they're a good team. The other one that's interesting is, Jesse, if you scroll up, look at Timo Meier's stats. Remember, he's first year of an 8-year deal here, and he is 10th in team scoring. Now, he hasn't played as many games, but that's a -21. Remember, plus minus doesn't matter until it gets goofy. He's got 18 points in 32 games.
And like no one on the team is remotely close.
Nathan Bastian is the next closest plus minus. He's a -9. And Minor is a -20.
And Nathan Bastian has played 10 more games. Or 11 more.
My holy Lord. Hey, Meier, though, game-winning goal, and Bastian doesn't have one, so...
Oh, no.
There you go.
Stop it.
Holy
it's rough.
Shit.
It's rough.
Wow.
It's rough. By the way, Toffoli's been really good for them, but Sharon Govich has been really, really good for the Flames. He's been like one of the bright. So it seems like a good trade.
Well, is it? It's one of those trades where it seems like neither team benefited. So
Tyler Toffoli's leading the Devils in goals.
No, I know. Yeah. I know. He just got a hat trick.
How long can he rule for?
How long can he be like a great player for?
Yeah. How much longer?
He's got like a boyish face, but like he's been in the league for a very long time.
Didn't he win all the cups wasn't he on all the cup teams in LA?
He was at very least on the 14 team. I don't know about 12.
31 years old from Scarborough, Ontario. We love him.
Tyler Toffoli's 31.
Yeah, he started the season after 2012, 2013 was his first year, but he did win a cup in 14.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's only 31. We've got a lot of years left. That's a good player.
Can he play goal?
And the Leafs could use a winger. Just saying.
It's never happening.
Free agent.
It's never happening.
No?
No.
Why? It's from Scarborough.
He's too smart.
Do you remember Tyler Toffoli's 10-game stint with the Vancouver Canucks in the 2020 season?
He only played 10 games with
because of the pandemic.
He got traded there at the deadline, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember it. No, I was going through a few existential crises at that moment, so I don't specifically remember that.
That was a crazy time.
There were too many teams made sweeping decisions coming out of that trade deadline. The Canucks spent a first to get to Toffoli, then the world ended, and decided, you know what, we're not even bringing him back. Nope. The other one, the Oilers giving up 2 seconds for
Anthony Mantha. No.
Athanasiou. What's his first name?
Andreas.
I kept wanting to say George because that's the guy we went to high school with.
Oh, yeah, we went to high school with a George Athanasiou.
We went to high school with a George Athanasiou.
And
I'm like, his name's not George.
I cannot remember high school names. If you show
Adam, you can't remember Eric Tulsky.
That's true. Small guy. I can't remember his name. You're right, Jesse. You're absolutely right. But yeah,
George. No, sorry, Andreas.
Yeah,
not even close.
Vancouver though did really well in that play-in round. right? They got to the second round.
And he was good for them.
And they were like, nah, fuck that shit.
Yeah. The Oilers spent a fortune and they went, we shouldn't have done that. As opposed to...
And then they let him go to Montreal and go all the way to the Stanley Cup final.
Like, why wasn't your takeaway... Why wasn't your takeaway, that was
we should keep
unique
him.
And unrepeatable? Nope. Got to get rid of him.
You know what was the worst thing the NHL's ever done to the Canucks in recent memory? When we had the bubble season, so the next following season after the bubble playoffs in the Canadian division, and the Canucks had like the worst time with this, and they were out of the playoffs and everything, and the season's over, and the Canucks have 3 more games to play, against the Flames, and they make them play them even though the playoffs are starting, and the games mean absolutely nothing, and every single player on the Canucks team just wanted to go home and not be in this stupid Canadian bubble.
Yeah.
And they made them play out those games, and 0 people watched them on television.
I would watch a 30-minute Netflix special about those games.
Yeah.
I want to know what it was like playing those games.
Nobody's in the arena. Nobody's watching it at home. They're just sitting there scrimmaging games that mean nothing.
Didn't someone have the hit numbers? And it's like they weren't even touching each other.
Must have been an all-star game. Like, I've never seen the footage. Like, I don't know.
I would love to go back and watch those games.
Me too.
Just to watch below preseason hockey.
Now that we know like the context of those games, I'd love to see them.
Cap's not even going up, so there's no reason to try. Oh yeah, I'm gonna cash in. I'm gonna do well in these 3 games for my contract. Nah.
No, it doesn't mean anything.
Nah. Oh shit.
It's upsetting.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
The NHL is like, no, you got to play them for the history of the stats.
What?
Everybody's got to play the same amount of games.
What was
Cancel
the
them.
point? Yeah.
Should we do the press conference?
Sure.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle
Adam's
Press
got his hand up.
Conference.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this, and this should have been at the top of the show, but it will be tomorrow. By the way, we have a show tomorrow and Friday. All-Star game.
Yes.
We've got 2 events. We got a we got a Friday and we got a Saturday All-Star panels. All the information, by the way, is in the description of where you listen to your show, be it Apple, Spotify, Google, or the Tube. The YouTube, as the Brits say. There've been a lot of tickets already, and we were talking to some people about it in Kingston. And I think the idea for us, by the way,
buy them now. Buy them now. Don't be cheeky. Buy them now.
Because they're selling quick. Not everybody can afford to go to the All-Star game. So how about you just come by and hang out and be in the atmosphere, and we'll do some shows, and we'll come on, drink some beers and watch it together.
Just in case there's any confusion, these are not going on during this.
Yeah, they're before, and one of them's after, and one of them's before. But yeah,
right.
We do not during. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right? So you watch the show, and then you get the event.
You don't have to pick one or the other. You can do both of them.
Yeah,
both of them.
And we actually have 3 events. I know you mentioned 2, but we have a third. Isabella's.
Oh, that's right, Isabel's. That will be on Saturday night from 7:30 to 10. Just a little after party to say thank you and have some fun. So come to all 3.
And at 10 o'clock, you don't have to leave.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You
can just be in
stay.
it. Yeah, people have already warned me. They're like, it gets hot in there. I'm like, I've been to clubs. I know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be wearing a t-shirt.
I've never heard of. Oh man, it gets cold in there.
You should wear a white tank like Pat McAfee. Have your guns out with the Yinzers, Adam. Just your heritage.
Yeah, the thing with Pat McAfee is he's actually got biceps. I just have regular
arms.
dad arms. No, they got a little bit toned because I was picking Everly up for so much. But now that she's 4.5, I rarely pick her up anymore.
Using Everly as a dumbbell?
Yeah, basically, you just kind of sometimes your back goes out. Because you're like reaching over the crib and you're like, oh, yeah.
You have to flex your core every time you pick them up.
You do.
Yeah, I may or may not have gone through this. The other thing is every new parent I've ever spoken to complains about shoulder pain.
Yes.
Because they don't realize they're lifting their kid with the same arm every time.
Oh, no. You
have to alternate.
You got to switch. Jesse, first question.
You know who rocked the tank look really good this summer? Steve Dangle at the Yankees game. He showed off the tattoo. He had a black tank top. Looked right in with all of his brethren in New York. It was good.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Your Italian brethren. Yes.
You do. You have there is a body that can support a tank top.
Yeah.
I do not have it, Steve.
Nah, at Isabella's, we need Adam in a white tank.
No. I don't think so. I don't think anybody needs that. I think my white tank days are behind me for now. Unless I get like Zac Efron jacked.
People kept referring to my tank top as not a tank top. They referred to it as something with a slur in it. Jesse didn't understand what it meant, and I had to explain it to him.
Oh no,
that did happen.
Oh no, really?
So Italians aren't allowed to wear tank tops apparently.
Yeah, apparently there's a name.
There's a name. He's like, I don't understand, and then I had to explain, and then we looked up the origin, and I went, oh, I didn't know that.
Wow, that's
that's not great.
I'm imagining you like a Dom Toretto, fast one.
No, that's not what they didn't say. You look like Dom Toretto. I wish they had.
It would have been a lot nicer.
It would have been a lot nicer.
All right, Jesse, first question.
What was your favorite part of Sunday?
Oh.
Ooh. Bubble soccer was pretty cool.
Bubble soccer was cool.
Yeah, I think the in-game events were fun. They have this thing called Chuck a Pep, which is basically there's a pizza on the ice and you win free pizza if you throw a puck and hit it. And I thought all the pucks were real, so I was like shielding myself, and then I got hit by a couple of them. And then I know that's like I just didn't think about it, and then I got hit by a couple. I'm like, those aren't real pucks, and they're made of foam.
Like just everyone in the first 5 rows loses teeth. Like
Maddie, if you want to picture this, there's some highlights from the day. Yeah, Adam, you're talking about the chuck-a-puck.
Yeah,
I started hurling them at you afterwards.
Yes, just like whipping them at me on the ice.
I got you like 3 good times in the back. Yeah. It was good.
Jesse also has like a laser beam throw, which is a little unfair.
I want to see how I get on the ice. I was so worried about falling down.
It was very gingerly. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time. The Franz put together a nice little sizzle reel too, which was cool.
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody that came out. We're hoping to do things like this more and more. So we'll keep in touch on that one. So yeah, really, really fun time.
Barrick the Bear, we made a big deal about him beforehand, and he delivered.
He did.
In every sense of the way. Barrick was amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out Barrick.
Although
being us through the whole ride.
I love that also in between intermissions, we were like giving the players like fist bumps, and the game got really heated between Saginaw and Kingston. And they were coming off the ice like, oh, I don't know why I have to give these adults like fist bumps.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, like,
these
boys.
Children did not want to interact with us.
And they're huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
They were very large.
Yeah.
They were very large.
Yeah.
It was quite fun.
It was a great time. Thank you to everybody that came out. Jesse, you pulling up a question?
Yeah. I had one question here from Turbo Turbs 94.
Turbo Turbs.
Do you guys wonder if Nyes is hurt and that's why he isn't playing well? I know he got hurt in practice a while ago and didn't miss a game, but hasn't really been good since.
Entirely possible.
It's possible, but I don't think he's any more hurt than anyone else in the team. Supposedly Matthews played with an injury all season last year and just didn't bother to mention it really.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible he's at less than 100%. I think it's more an issue of fatigue, going from college schedule to pro.
Adam, do you have the All-Star captains announcement? Can you bring up that tweet that the NHL threw out about the Justin Bieber and Tate McRae and Will Arnett, and I'm missing a name off the top of my head. Michael Bublé. I don't know who that guy is.
It's weird.
Mr. Bubbly.
When you look on Twitter now and you search NHL, the first thing that comes up is NHL on TNT. The NHL doesn't even come up in the search bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Jesse, hang on.
You got in front of you? Because Kate Ellen's got a bone to pick.
Okay. I don't know where this is.
I just want you to have that ready. So
NHL All-Star Captains. Oh yeah. Okay, I've got an I got an ESPN tweet on it.
Okay. And as long as you got everybody involved.
Yep.
So Kate writes this on our Discord. How is Sidney Crosby not on the list for the skills competition? He was the only interesting part of last year's skill competition, and he's still the face of hockey in the USA. I get the NHL wants to showcase the young stars, but come on. If he is not captain, we riot. Kate follows up a day later. He is not captain. I don't understand the NHL.
I think because Sidney Crosby is the face of hockey in the United States, along with Ovi, and they are, or at least they have been for the last 15 years, I think the NHL's going, okay, we're running out of time on these guys. We need to start promoting new players so that audiences in the States will grow. And so that is why you have what Matthews makes sense. It's Toronto, Bieber, whatever. McDavid makes sense because he's McDavid. He's the best player.
McDavid.
McKinnon and the Hughes brothers. McKinnon makes sense because obviously they won a cup and McKinnon's amazing, whatever. Mm-hmm. But he's also like a name that I think they're trying to put forth as like, here's a guy that in the States, if you're a non-hockey fan, here's somebody we want to show you. And the Hughes brothers, Americans, spectacular players. Hopefully Jack's not still injured by the time he has to pair up with Buble here. Those guys are guys that I'd be like, if we want to appeal to American audiences, here's a couple of American kids that are unbelievable. One could win the Art Ross, the other could win a Norris in the same season.
Right.
The problem right now is the Hughes brothers, as far as charisma goes, are like a 2 out of 10 on the Richter scale.
Nah, they're low key funny.
They're funny, but
they're going to be funny together.
And
I think they're going to be really
so that's
funny
what you need,
together.
Right? You need, and I'm not saying they're not funny. God, I'm going to get shit on in the comments.
No, I know.
section. Thanks,
I
Steve.
know what you mean.
You just rang me over the coals. When I see if you're American, you won't see this. When I see the Sportsnet All-Star commercial, and they get all the players together, and they're like, "You ready, Toronto?" And they're all like, literally Connor McDavid, Quinn Hughes, a few other guys on it. They're like, "You ready, Toronto?"
See, they record those on media day, which all of the players, it's the worst day of their life. It's the worst day.
What's the money for?
Adam?
What's the money for?
The money's for...
So, I don't know. Why is it so hard? Guy, listen. Vlad Guerrero Jr. doesn't even speak the language that well, and he can get jacked up for media day.
I know.
Why can't we get the NHL players to go, "You ready, Toronto?"
Are you ready, Toronto?
Football, basketball, baseball, they all can do it. Even stuffy old baseball can do it. And I love Quinn and Jack Hughes, and I think their interviews are funny, but like, give me some energy, guys. All of them. So I'm with you on the Crosby thing, but I think they need Quinn and Jack Hughes in there. I think you need McKinnon in there. And for the Canadian side, you need Matthews. And McDavid, you just need because he's McDavid.
So there's not really anybody. You're not taking out Quinn and Jack
because Sidney's going to be around for a few more years. We might even get 5 years out of him because he's a monster.
You're putting the captain of the Canucks with Michael Bublé, who's a huge Canucks fan, and his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and half the All-Star team is the Canucks. They got so many guys going,
and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I just think you gotta at some point the NHL's looking at this going, Ovi said it perfectly. They're moving on. They have to move on. They have to.
I'd like to see Crosby more involved, but no, they got the captains right. I'm not going to complain about that.
All right, and assistant captain Cale Makar. I didn't know they had an assistant. Do they all have?
Why didn't they include?
Oh, Morgan's
their
got an assistant.
You're forgetting about the most important person.
Leon.
Who's that?
Will Arnett.
Oh, I love Will Arnett.
BoJack Horseman?
Yeah, no, he's easily the most important person.
Why?
McKinnon and Tate McRae, I don't know what's going on there, but Bieber is friends with Matthews. Michael Bublé is a Canucks fan. He's with the captain of the Canucks. Will Arnett is like a very out in the open Leafs fan.
Mm-hmm.
So is McDavid. And so is McDavid, Adam. Absolutely.
I think he's doing a little recruiting.
Will, you know your mission.
Do it.
Come back with your shield.
Do it.
On it.
I like it.
This is all you, Will. This is all you.
Watch, Crosby's going to get like All-Star Game MVP and just tear it up. And,
good.
Yeah.
He can.
What just happened? He spit?
Steve said good and spit just poured out of his mouth.
Was that on camera?
I hope so. Did you get it?
Were you ISO'd on Steve when that happened?
Such a small square, I can't really.
Okay.
I hope so.
Well,
maybe we can slow that
we'll
one
clip
down.
That. Yeah. I think that's got to go on socials.
I'm salivating at the idea of McDavid coming to Toronto.
It's gonna be fun.
Ew.
That was funny. Hey, we didn't really
How'd you think so?
We didn't dive deep on the All-Star jerseys. A lot of people are comparing them to McDonald's. This to me fits the Bieber brand, like with his Drew House stuff.
Yeah.
I don't hate them.
I actually don't either.
I know the cool. Okay, nameplate's weird.
The nameplate underneath is weird.
It fits the brand though.
Nameplate on the bum is weird.
Let me see.
But
I mean,
if someone
they do that
would
in
like to
European
send me
hockey.
a Dangle nameplate on the bum jersey,
They do it in European hockey all the time, so it's not that weird.
no.
I know it's not Euro hockey.
I know it's this is very unique to me as someone who is easily distracted. The red jersey looks too much like Kunlun Red Star, which is a KHL team. But the rest of them, I like them. Is it weird that I like them?
I like them.
I don't mind them at all.
I think they're cool.
Like, I think it's a little... We're nitpicking here if we don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see them in person. I bet they're really sharp. Like, I love the colors. I bet they're going to look really good on camera. I like the jerseys a lot.
Chrome helmets. No, chrome gloves. Just have metal-plated gloves.
Boy, they're already almost sold out. And by the way, those jerseys are $300 each.
Oof.
With a name
the
on
Matthews one sold out.
$329 for Riley. Holy.
One thing about these jerseys, whenever we do them, they always look better on the ice on the person.
Oh,
yeah.
Like whenever you see the stiff graphic of the jersey like this, it always looks better when they're actually on the ice with the full kit, or full uniform, wearing it. Doing some footy turns when they're full kit. When they're full kit in the Liverpool, it always looks better.
Can't wait for them to hit the pitch. The ice pitch.
In Toronto. The pitch.
It's gonna be a great event, and we're very excited to have all our stuff going on there. So we hope to see you there. And like I said, buying a jersey is expensive. Going to the game is expensive. Mm-hmm. You know what isn't? Come and hanging out with us for $10.
Hanging out with your pals.
That's right. That's right. And you got to be in it. You do. It comes around every quarter century. You got to come down and be a part of the atmosphere a little bit, right?
And buy tickets to the show. Buy them.
Spit about it, Steve.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.